to high school football on Comcast. Tonight it's the Battle of the Creek in Walnut Creek as the Northgate Broncos take on the Los Lomas Knights. Dan Wall and Tony Schultz in this week on Color. And Tony, you know, this game, it could be very interesting. It could be a blowout. And history tells us over the course of the last 3 years, it could be a blowout in the favor of the Los Lomas Knights. But 4 years ago, Northgate played a very big game here and beat Los Lomas, so we'll just have to wait and see. That's why we play the games, as they say on ESPN. For Northgate, they're going to have to control the ball on the ground tonight. Ted Tellian likes his running back, Evan Navarra, number 35. We'll see him with the ball out in the backfield in their West Coast offense.
Yeah, big, powerful guy. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. And one thing Northgate has going for them is that Los Lomas is, probably the worst thing about Los Lomas right now is their run defense. So Northgate can't exploit that tonight. Yeah, last week they gave up 200 yards to a rusher from Alhambra. We'll talk about that a little bit. But on the other side of the ball, Los Lomas had Doug Stinson, number 20 for the Knights. He ran for 289 yards last week in their victory over Alhambra, and they have a very good offense, always high-powered under Doug Longero. Yeah, following the footsteps of Brian Kattenberg, who's no longer here, a big, powerful guy who can really lay a lick, and also offensively over 400 yards in rushing offense last week. They had a big game. Northgate's going to have their hands full with that tonight. Yeah, the big question is, can Northgate, with a small roster of just 24 suited up tonight, go man-to-man with the Los Lomas Knights? Going to be a tough one. It'll be a great one, though. The Battle of the Creek, Los Lomas and Northgate, is next here on Comcast.
What is a coach? A teacher, a motivator, a leader. The person who sees your athletic potential and maximizes it, regardless of the sport. At Velocity Sports Performance, you train with a highly qualified coach every time you train. Your coach makes you work hard, but your coach makes you a better athlete. Train with a coach who knows. Velocity Sports Performance. Maximize your potential. We guarantee it.
Affordable, professional, and convenient auto care has arrived. Auto Care 2000. Auto Care 2000 works on American and foreign autos with friendly professional mechanics that know your auto inside and out. Auto Care 2000 will even take your used oil and filter. Caring for our environment, that's Auto Care 2000, open 7 days a week. Auto Care 2000 at 3405 Clayton Road in Concord. Auto Care for the next century and beyond.
If you dump your oil, tempers boil, it ends up in the bay. Oh, smile, it's Oil Buster Camera. Don't want your oil to choke us, you're in focus, your neighbors just might say. Smile, it's Oil Buster Camera. Well, it's not fun to pay a big fine for polluting our water supply. No. It's not fun to talk to police as the neighbors walk on by. So now you're reeling, how's the wallet feeling? A big fine you're gonna pay. Smile, it's Oil Buster Camera. Smile, it's Oil Buster Camera.
Hi, I'm Rocco Vialli, and I'd like to welcome you to Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria here in Walnut Creek. Rocco's is a great place for family dining. In addition to serving the best pizza in the East Bay, Rocco's also serves many classic Italian pasta specialties. Make Rocco's your home for your next team party. Great pizza, great pasta, great people.
Rocco's!
A part of your community.
Tonight's Comcast Game of the Week is made possible in part by a generous donation from Amorosa's Antique and Floral in Antioch, located at 204 G Street in the Old Rivertown District of Antioch. Amorosa's specializes in fresh flowers for weddings and special events with a large variety of gift items such as French soaps and candles, French jewelry, tea sets, and more. Come by today and let Amorosa's find that special gift for that special someone. That's Amorosa's Antique and Floral in the historic Rivertown District of downtown Antioch. Looking for a car or truck but having trouble getting approved credit? Let Diablo Auto Sales of Antioch find that perfect vehicle that fits your every need. With great customer service, selection, and a qualified sales staff, Diablo Auto Sales of Antioch can make your next car a reality. Se habla español. That's Diablo Auto Sales of Antioch at 1006 West 10th Street in downtown Antioch. The dentistry offices of Jeffrey Hogue, DDS. Jeffrey Hogue, DDS, and his staff has been serving East County for years with a personal commitment to their clients in uncompromising dental care with an atmosphere of comfort and experience. With state-of-the-art sterilization techniques and equipment, their staff of highly trained professionals will make your every visit one you'll look forward to in the future. That's Jeffrey Hogue, DDS, and staff at 5201 Deer Valley Road, Suite 3A in Antioch. There are two types of airsoft players, the well-equipped and the targets. GamePod Combat Airsoft provides one of the largest selections of airsoft inventory in the U.S. From beginners to advanced players, GamePod has it all. Specializing in competition-grade airsoft guns and accessories, BDUs, hydration systems, accessories, night vision, and the all-new Raptor fast attack vehicles. GamePod, where the elite will meet. Restore your carpet with recovery carpet cleaning. It's the only way to clean your home, business, car, RV, or boat. Receive professional and dependable service with a brand new, state-of-the-art, truck-mounted system. This system will restore and clean your carpet and upholstery with a powerful dirt extraction system that you are sure to see and feel. Carpet and upholstery will be dry in hours, not days, and there won't be that chemical feeling after it's done. Brendan Theaters of Concord and Pittsburgh, featuring 14 screens of movie magic. All theaters have Lucasfilm THX digital sound systems and stadium-style seating. The prize wheel spins weekly with great prizes. The Prize Patrol, promotional events, and other activities happen monthly with great giveaways and prizes. Check out the Brendan Theater website for more information and great savings ideas. Your favorite films in a great environment, all at Brendan Theaters of Concord and Pittsburgh. Enjoy the movie. Thanks again to all of our friends from the Comcast Game of the Week.
Back at Los Lomas High School, George DeClot Stadium, you told me he was the original football coach here at Los Lomas.
I asked a few people, and that's what they said way back in the 50s. I'm talking leather helmet days, but that's why the field is named after him.
And here's a nice shot of a brand new, just opened this year, a beautiful stadium, the fourth in this school district, along with Acalanes, Miramonte, Campolindo, and one of the nicest ones. We have a beautiful spot right at the 50-yard line. Should be an interesting game tonight, Tony. Northgate is 2-1 coming into tonight's game. They lost to Mitty 9-0. That was a shocker.
Good club there. Yeah.
Mitty's good, but it's always just a shocker to me that they didn't score, because that's the one thing with Los Lomas. Usually they give up points, but they want to run and gun with you. There's the press box, and very nice facility.
The Alhambra game was more like a Los Lomas game.
Beat Mount Diablo 39-0, and then Alhambra last week 32-26. That's a Los Lomas game. Lots of points, lots of yardage. Stinson had the big game, but Rudley had a huge game.
Over 10 yards a carry.
Unbelievable.
For the Dogs. Big game.
Northgate's 0-3, lost to Piedmont in their opener. Played a game at home, though, last week at Miramonte, and we'll talk about it. They're going to have a new field by 2007 that looks a lot like this. So that's seems to be the pattern now in high school football in this area, everyone getting their own field. Steve Rankin is the kicker for the Northgate Broncos. He's also their starting quarterback.
And he also starts on defense as well as most of these players, because they're suiting up just 24 players here this evening.
It looks like Stinson is deep, but once again, there's no numbers on the shoulders, so sometimes it's going to take a little bit of an effort to identify him.
I think that is number 20.
It looks like 20, Stinson.
The kick is away.
And it is, and Stinson takes it at the 5-yard line. We're underway tonight from Walnut Creek. And Stinson has a lane, still on his feet, and he's out across the 30-yard line, tackled at the 33-yard line. For Northgate on that tackle, number 87, Igor Pleschuk made the tackle. Jordan Curl, the quarterback for the Knights. Doug Stinson and Johnny Volan in the backfield. Jack Davis and Bo Harkins are the wide receivers, and big Jason Swisher's the tight end. Across the front line for Coach Longero, Nick Anderson, Colby Miller, Monaco Laris, Casey Hayes, and Will Rullifson. Jack Davis, who's a wide receiver, also doubles as the place kicker. First down from the 33. Curl, a junior quarterback, a big kid with a strong arm. And he hands off to Stinson, and Stinson's hitting the backfield, breaks a tackle, he's still on his feet, breaks outside, he's at the 50, and Stinson could be gone on the first play of the game. Stinson's at the 10, touchdown Los Lomas, no flags on the play, 67 yards on the first play. And Tony, that's a play, that wasn't one of those plays where he had a clear lane. He could have been tackled in the backfield, but he broke a tackle, made a nice cut, and goes all the way for the score.
Now, he got a little bit of a lane, but he really made that first guy miss, and then when he cut across the field, there was nobody over there to get him, and he simply outran everybody to that Northgate sideline, and he hits the home run here on the first play from scrimmage.
6-0, and here's the Los Lomas on to attempt the extra point. They don't have a holder at this point, and they might get a delay penalty here if they don't get this off. The holder for Los Lomas is number 22, Kevin Palaniuk.
A very tough.
And the kicker is Jack Davis. The kick is up, and the kick is
no good.
It's no good, missed to the right, and so it's 6-0. Los Lomas with 11:07 to go first quarter. Let's take another look at the touchdown.
So here it is, up close and personal there. Off tackle to the right, and then he's going to cut it back right over here, and then he's going to find huge room over there to the far side of the field, and really there was nobody who had a chance. Once the first guy missed, it seemed like it was over, and Stinson able to hit the home run there and go all the way. But Northgate, when I talked to them earlier in the week, they were telling me one of the things they have to eliminate is the big plays. Well, first play of the game, they give up.
There we go. Over 350 yards now in his last 29 carries. He had 28 for 289 last week. So 67 yards, a touchdown. There's Coach Longero. We call him the Riverboat Gambler because of his big triple overtime victory over Clayton Valley. Went for 2 in the third overtime. You remember that play. Lawliger to Yamashita won the championship that year for the Los Lomas Knights. They've won North Coast Section Championships in 2002 and 2003. Were the runner-up to San Ramon last year in a game you and I did down at Foothill High School, and could very well be right back in that game again this year. Number 92 is the kicker, Josh Allen, and he puts his foot to that one, and that's a good boot. Taken by Navarra at the 1-yard line. Navarra has a nice return. Breaks a tackle, far sideline, cuts it back up, and he's all the way out to the 38, now 39-yard line, and that's where Northgate will have their first offensive possession of the game. Steve Rankin is the quarterback. You just saw Navarro and Blaine Johnson are in the backfield. Igor Pleschuk and Chris Inman are the wide receivers. Anton Mironov is the, sounds like a goalie for the Montreal Canadiens. He's actually the tight end, Tony. Ricky Ikeda, Alex Machado, Bobby Linton, Joseph Jordan, and Jacob Paquette across the line. You see Rankin and Navarro, the special teams specialists there for head coach Ted Tellian in his 16th year at the helm of the Northgate Broncos. First down, spotted at the 39-yard line of Northgate. Little misdirection handoff, and Johnson gets hammered by 2 Knights. That's number 11, Johnny Volan, and number 44, Cameron Bond. And they formed a nice bond on that play, Tony. Here's the Los Lomas defense for you. And there's Bond with Castro, David Luke, whose brother was a great quarterback here, and Will Rullifson, who goes both ways across the line. McGall, Swisher, and Volan. Swisher's brother was a great player here as well. He's at Princeton now. In the defensive backfield, these 4 players, Drew Gossage, no relation to Goose, Charles Clancy, Kevin Yamashita, his brother was a great player here, and also Alex Pomerantz, who started last year. Here's a run for Johnson, and Johnson's going to be close to a first down, a gain of 9, all the way out to the 48-yard line. Now they're marking it even closer to the yard marker over there, right near midfield, Tony.
He had a nice play there coming here to the near side. And look at this, they're going to seal off that side very nicely, coming right into your living room here, and Blaine Johnson, and really a second and long situation, nearly picking up a first down.
And there's Jason Swisher, which is that play. Well, I'll remind you first that the Comcast Game of the Week is only seen on your Comcast local origination channel. It looks like it's going to be third, and they're going to measure. But when Jason Swisher runs after you, it's got to kind of feel like the little guy who wrestles and the Undertaker's running after you. Chasing you through the arena, right?
WCW, right?
Actually, that went out of business 4 years ago. It's the WWE now, but good try.
WWE.
I don't think the Undertaker ever wrestled in WCW either, but we'll get you up to date on your wrestling trivia, Tony. They mark it at the 49-yard line. It's going to be very close, and it is
just short.
Wow, short by 2 inches. So it's going to be third and less than a yard for the Broncos here. And this is just Northgate just needs some positive stuff to happen. They just need to get a first down, move the ball. They don't want to get into that field possession game where they're giving Los Lomas a short field all the time.
No, and they really wanted to stay out of, when I talked to Tellian earlier in the week, he really wanted to stay out of the long yardage situations. They got one on second down here right off the bat. They were able to overcome that. But really, when you come up on third down, not too many good plays for third down and 20. There's Tellian.
There's Coach Tellian on the sideline.
Side.
We'll talk a little bit more about. They coach both the varsity and junior varsity as a coaching staff. Very interesting. And this is Rankin, and I think Rankin got it. If you look at the far spot, he did. Just get across near the midfield stripe, and we're going to call it a first down for Northgate.
Yeah, the line judge has got him clearly across, clearly at the 50-yard line, so that'll be a first down for the Broncos. Good news for them as they move the sticks.
Tony, Northgate has not had a lot of success in football in the 2000s, but back in the early 90s, they were a very powerful team. They only lost 3 games in a 3-year span in league play in the early 90s. In 93, they were a playoff team, lost in the quarterfinals. 94, they were the FAL champions, went 11-1, lost to Alhambra 31-28 in the semifinal. 95, lost to Miramonte in 3 overtimes, and also lost a 3 overtime game in 96. So they've had some success. Here's Johnson, and Johnson's had some success here. Gain of 7 on first down. Inside Los Lomas territory, tackled at the 43-yard line.
Going over that left side again. Pretty much the same play as they had last time. There's a nice blocking up front, a little crease for him to get through. And then he's finally dragged down, but not before he gets a good gain. And he'll bring up second down and short. That's the spot Northgate hopes to be in most of the night.
Swisher made the tackle. 2nd and 3. Just underway here. First quarter, 6-0 Los Lomas. Scored on a 67-yard run by Doug Stinson on their first play from scrimmage. Rankin, first pass attempt of the game. Swings a little West Coast offense style pass to number 5. That's Chris Inman, and he's going to be close to the first down. And you can see basically what Northgate's going to try to do here. They're going to have the short passing game, they're going to run off tackle, and they're going to try to wear down Los Lomas. Kind of the strategy Los Lomas wants to employ as well, to wear down Northgate.
Well, after what they saw, or at least what they read about what happened with Northgate last week, they got to figure they can run the football a little bit. They have talented guys there to do it in Navarro and Johnson. And then off that, they hope to set up the pass when the Knights are looking for the run.
And now here we are once again, 3rd and very short. Ball spotted at the 41-yard line. Rankin, this is a broken play. He pulls it back, and he's going to, well, he makes a nice play to get back near the line of scrimmage. It's going to depend on the spot, Tony, but it was a broken play. Looked like there might have been a little motion on that play that wasn't called. And he's going to be very close to a first down after a great second effort by the quarterback, Rankin.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to mark him just short. And now the Broncos are going to take time out and talk this one over, but it is going to be 4th down. And it looked like he wanted to hand off to somebody, and there was nobody there. And then he just kind of had to make do with what he had, and he was just very fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Hurricane Katrina and Rita relief, 1-800-HELP-NOW or www.redcross.org.
And look at this here, Broncos rolling the dice here on 4th down.
Could also be in the area of a long snap count. Rankin, under center, takes the sneak. And I think by the look of that spot, it's going to be very, very close. He might have just barely got it.
And Los Lomas takes over.
Now, I guess the spot did not get to where they need to go. The referee came right in and turned that ball back over to Los Lomas after this quarterback sneak, Tony.
Take a look at Rankin just going over. It looks like he clearly got it. Did he fumble the football at the end? There's Castro dragging and pulling him back, but it looked like initially he got it.
He might not have had the football. I don't think he does. I think that's why the ref came in on that. I'm looking at Rankin on the ground. He doesn't have the ball. So that was a fumble and recovered by Los Lomas. And it would have been very close to begin with. It was not an obvious first down. So Los Lomas holds on 4th down with the turnover, and they take over at their 40. 2 backs, Pomerantz and Stinson. This is Stinson. Hit behind the backfield again, but this time he's wrapped up by Blaine Johnson and a big pack of Broncos there and tackled for a 3-yard loss.
Yeah, Blaine Johnson right into the backfield that time. Nobody blocked him. And Stinson, who had that big run on the first play on that first possession here, is caught in the backfield. Nicely done. 3 white shirts right there. That place was just going nowhere. And the Northgate defense makes a good play.
We didn't get to give it to you. They had that quick play. Harrison, Linton, and Paquette across the front line. Pleschuk, Johnson, Ikeda, and Navarro, the linebackers. Defensive backfield, Rankin, Chang, Chatfield, and Welge for head coach Ted Tellian. Nice play that time by the Northgate defense. 2nd and 13. Play action, curl, in trouble, throwing down the middle of the field. Good coverage that time as he kind of lofted one out there for his tight end Swisher. It was broken up, incomplete. Good defensive play that time by number 28 in Northgate, Kevin Chatfield.
Yeah, Chatfield making a good play here. Makes a little bit of contact downfield. Take a look at it there. Good pressure. but he does the right thing. He's turning around looking for the ball, and the ball just a little bit overthrown.
Bob Rushworth is our referee tonight. Victor Coronado, Scott Dunnigan, and Cam Jones, a four-man crew out here tonight. There was a rumor they might only have three, and it was going to be really interesting to see how they did it with three guys out here with a couple of really big physical teams. But,
but just how do you line up to be able to see all these players?
They have the four, so that's better than what we were anticipating. Third down, Curl in trouble, and he's going to be sacked. Hey, Northgate's defense after that first play has really come to play. Number 84 for Northgate was there, Anton Mironoff, and as I mentioned, no relation to Boris, the great NHL defenseman.
Jason Shindo, number 59, is going to be the first guy to get him, breaking right through the line there, and very fortunate of the Knights that ball wasn't fumbled. So a big defensive stand here. The Knights going backwards. And here, Dan, the Broncos should get pretty good field position here.
Yeah, you mentioned Shindo made a nice play. So a loss of 8, 4th and 21. That's Davis with the punt. And it's a short kick, and it's going to bounce dead at the 40-yard line. 31-yard punt, no return. And Northgate will take over with their second possession. Here's the great friends of the program here on Comcast. We couldn't do it without you. Thanks for all your support for the high school game of the week. Rocco's Ristorani and Pizzeria. Thanks for tonight's crew meal, guys. Contra Costa Clean Water Program and Mr. Funnelhead. Velocity Sports Performance in Concord. Brennan Theaters. You can see Into the Blue with Jessica Alba. One of the new movies that starts at the Brennan Theaters in Concord and Pittsburgh this weekend. Hertz Equipment Rental in Pacheco. Thanks for the scissor lift tonight, guys. Peacock Expressions Gallery in Antioch. Quarterback draw, Rankin, and he barely gets back to the line of scrimmage before he's wrapped up by the man-child, Jason Swisher. We mentioned his brother is at Princeton. He played here a few years ago. Brendan Swisher was a great player here as well.
Also, Yamashita gone. His brother, Kevin, playing free safety here for this club.
James is at DVC. As a matter of fact, James Yamashita, Jamie Chandler, John Lolliger, and James Mooney, all players from last year's team, are at DVC. Kattenberg, we didn't have a report of where he was. Here's a couple of names you might remember from the past. J.C. Lewis, starting quarterback at Southern. We mentioned Swisher. Dan Albana is at UC Davis, the team captain. Brian Lukes at Kansas. Tom Schneider's the kicker at Cal, all former Knights. Rankin to throw, second down, over the middle, has his tight end. That's a nice catch by number 84. Anton Mironoff, and he's tackled by 3 Knights. A first down, a gain of 16, Tony.
That ball well delivered that time. In a little bit of traffic over the middle, but this ball has got a lot of mustard on it. There's that nice throw right into between a couple of defenders, and the big tight end able to turn it upfield and pick up a nice gain and a first down here for Northgate as they go back into Knights territory. That's first down they've got, Dan. They stopped the last time.
They
so
look like they have some
okay.
talent. I remember a couple 5 years ago. We haven't done Northgate on this. That's one of the reasons we wanted to get them on. We did them against Antioch about 5 years ago on that side of the hill. And I remember, even though they lost that game, they played very tough. They were in it. They definitely have some talent. There's Rankin. Rankin does a Houdini act and gets out of that sack and then gains positive yardage, a 7-yard gain all the way down to the 35-yard line.
It looks like that guy on that Mind Freak show where he starts one where he disappears, he ends up somewhere else. It looked like they were going to drag him down easily, possibly for a loss. Breaks a couple tackles and actually makes a nice gain out of that. But the design certainly doesn't look very good. Red shirts all over him, but still a positive play for Northgate.
He's been able to do that a couple of times. So Rankin with some good maneuverability back there, some elusiveness. Say that 5 times quick, Tony, to get out of there. They actually mark it at the 35. It's 2nd and 4, and this is Johnson straight ahead, banging ahead for what appears to be another Northgate first down at the 30-yard line.
Looks like the line judge has him marked for that first down. There's Blaine Johnson, who's really listed as the fullback here, just a sophomore. But so far, every time he's touched the ball, he's found positive yards. And again, Dan, able to break some tackles. So right now, these Knights have got to do a better job of wrapping up because they seem like they have the play stopped, and then Northgate's able to break a couple tackles and make a good gain.
Los Lomas has played at times down to their competition in the sense of records. You know, I mean, last year, remember that Concord game, Tony, you did? It was tied at halftime in that game. Now, Concord definitely a comer after last week's win. We'll probably see them next year with some big players. Here's a pass over the middle, tipped and intercepted. Intercepted by number 21. That's a familiar name. That's Kevin Yamashita. You remember his brother. That pass was intended for number 5, Chris Inman, off of his fingertips. Intercepted, the second turnover of the ball game. and the Knights are back in business.
Yeah, well, Tellison said one thing we have to eliminate is the mistakes. And this ball might be a little bit high, but Inman really should catch that. If he does one thing positive, he turns around and makes the tackle after the interception. But he really had a first down and a nice gain right in his hands and couldn't hold on.
The interception was at the 15-yard line, a 5-yard return. First down, Los Lomas. 3:36 to go, first quarter. The Knights lead 6-0. Handoff. This is Stinson, and this time Stinson has a big hole. He has a first down, and he's still on his feet out across the 40-yard line. Tackled at the 44-yard line by number 36, Shane Killian. First down, gain of 26 for Los Lomas.
Well, Stinson's handled the ball here a couple of times. And again, a nice hole over there on the right side. And really, there was almost no defense over there on that side. They have to chase him down deep down the field after he makes a nice gain there, coming to the near side of the field. Another big run for Stinson.
Check that, Tony. They mark it at the 44. Gain of 24. 86 yards rushing for Stinson on 3 carries here in the first quarter. So Stinson well on his way to a 100-yard ball game. And there's Stinson again. And he fumbles. Ball is on the ground. And we have to wait to see what happened here. Navarro thinks Northgate has it. Northgate
some cheering going on.
Sideline thinks they have it, but what is the call?
The referee still don't know.
Northgate has it. So after a gain on that play, Tony, of about 7, Stinson fumbles, and Northgate gets their first turnover of the ball game.
So Northgate makes the mistake. They come back here a little defense. Hard to tell, but maybe some stripping going on in there. They're able to take that ball away so they can erase that first mistake by the offense. Take a look at the fans. Here's Stinson here, coming up the middle. There's that nice gain at the ball, and it looks like it's stripped right there and just pulled out of his hand. Kind of blocked by the official there.
I think it was Navarro, and then he's the one who kind of jumped up on the far side and signaled fumble, and thought that they had the ball. And Northgate is not ready for that quick change of possession there, and they call a timeout with 2:54 to go first quarter. Los Lomas ahead 6-0. And let's say hi to some of the great friends of the program here on the Comcast Game of the Week. Pantel's Music Box in downtown Antioch. Hi to all the guys down there. Lito's Barbershop, West 6th Street in Antioch. Ghost Cycles, a huge helmet inventory down at Ghost Cycles, Tony. Queen Bee's Quilt Shop had a very successful Rivertown Jamboree downtown Antioch last week. The Williams Company, good to see them back on as a friend of the program, 757-3855. And Fitness 19, we welcome them back. Don't forget $19, I believe it is. Get you a month there at Fitness 19. Something you could use, I think.
They're giving
and me
it away.
too. Yeah, absolutely. There's the cheerleaders here at Los Lomas High School. They call this the Tournament of the Creek or the Battle of the Creek.
The Battle of the Creek, right.
The two high schools. A lot of people always used to think Ignacio Valley was in Walnut Creek. It's really in Concord.
Right.
So it's right there
down
by,
the street from De La Salle.
Right across the street. You can see the baseball fields from one baseball field from the other. So Ignacio Valley last week came back with a big victory after their loss here on the Comcast Game of the Week. They beat Deer Valley last week. And we'll see Deer Valley next week against Pittsburgh. Should be a good one. The Clayton Oktoberfest. If you're watching this game on Saturday, don't forget on Sunday, the 2nd, you can go down there. And then you can go see Journey at the Chronicle Pavilion. What a night and day of entertainment that'll be. First down, Rankin from the shotgun throws, has a receiver, Inman, but it's in double coverage, and Yamashita was running there with number 4, Charles Clancy. The pass is incomplete.
And Inman actually almost a little bit lucky he didn't catch that ball because he was going to take one on the chops. This ball probably should be completed. It's a little bit outstretched there for Inman, but boy, the Knights had that pretty well covered. It looked like there was going to be a big collision at the end of that play.
2nd and 10 from the 49-yard line of Northgate. Last week, Northgate played that game at their home stadium and lost to Miramani 34-14. We'll talk a little bit more about the field that is going to be built there over the course of the next 2 seasons. Rankin, and he's in trouble, and he's scrambling. And another positive rush for Rankin. He's making things happen. I think the thing with Rankin is he's not afraid to take a hit, and he's getting some extra yardage going in there and battling against the Knights.
Also, he was very decisive that time. He went back and pulled it down and just ran. He didn't kind of wait to see what was going to happen. He saw a crease, and he took it, and he's very close to another first down here for the Broncos.
3rd and 1 after a gain of 9. Pleasant Hill Art, Jazz, and Wine Festival, downtown Pleasant Hill, Saturday and Sunday, October 8th and 9th. Another great event here locally in Contra Costa County. Handoff, this is Navarra, and a fumble. The ball's on the ground. It's picked up, and it's fumbled again, and then Swisher picks it up again. And after all of that commotion, Swisher has the ball back at the original line of scrimmage at the 49-yard line. So another turnover, Tony. We've had 4 turnovers here in the first quarter.
Here's Navarra. Not much going on there. Takes the hit, has the ball stripped, loses it, and there are the Knights coming to pick it up. So right now, just a situation of mistakes, or at least the defense is going out and making some plays right now and forcing some of these turnovers. And here are the Knights starting in Bronco territory.
Stinson splits wide. He's in the far slot on first down. Swisher goes in motion. They hand off to Johnny Volan, and Volan is tackled after a gain of 7 at the 42-yard line of Northgate. Inside of 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter, 6-0 Los Lomas. And you know, Northgate, this isn't one of those hopeless situations. They just have to simply hold on to the ball. They've actually had some positive yardage on some of their plays, Tony, but the turnovers are killing them.
No, they got a couple of stops. They forced a punt. They got a fumble. They were able to move the ball, get some first downs. But again, the mistakes are hurting them here in the first quarter.
2 backs. Stinson on second down has a first down, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Good tackle that time by number 24, Ethan Johnson.
So we got an injured player over there on that far side. Can't tell who it is. We're going to take a look at it. The officials are going to call timeout.
It looks like it's Stinson who ran with the ball, and it looks like he has a leg injury.
Looks like he's holding that right knee, and he appears to be in quite a bit of pain here.
We're going to show you a quick replay, Tony.
There's Stinson doing a great job on, after initial contact, able to pick up some yards. Takes a couple of hits there and might have got a helmet right to the knee or had it bent the wrong way. But in any event, he is in a lot of pain over there on that far sideline, and we can only hope that he'll be okay and get back in this game.
We're going to send it away for a quick 1-minute break, and we'll be right back from Walnut Creek on Comcast.
Great Mexican food, home of the famous margarita, and fun and food in a festive environment. That's Celia's of Antioch. For over 30 years, Celia's has served specialties like fajita supreme, camarones a la ranchera, and other great Mexican food that has brought people from around the area to eat. Every Thursday night is live music from Trio and Saturday night mariachis. That's Celia's of Antioch for great Mexican food.
Affordable, professional, and convenient auto care has arrived. Auto Care 2000. Auto Care 2000 works on American and foreign autos with friendly professional mechanics that know your auto inside and out. Auto Care 2000 will even take your used oil and filter. Caring for our environment, that's Auto Care 2000, open 7 days a week. Auto Care 2000 at 3405 Clayton Road in Concord. Auto Care for the next century and beyond.
And there's Doug Stinson there being carried off. You see Coach Longero very concerned in front of him. Of course, Doug had a big game last week, 289 yards, has 100 yards rushing already in the first quarter. That could be a serious blow to Los Lomas. But they are, one thing about Los Lomas, they've got some depth in the backfield. Curl's also a very good quarterback. Volan is the only back behind Curl. First down, he rolls, he throws, has a receiver. That is Davis. And Davis is tackled inbounds at the we're going to mark that at the 26-yard line of Northgate. It's going to be 2nd and 2.
Davis coming in motion here and coming here to working his way to the near side of the field, and nicely executed that time by the Knights. Just sort of running away from the defender that time, able to take the pass in stride and make a nice gain out of it on first down.
They actually mark it now at the 27-yard line of Northgate. 2nd down. Empty backfield for Los Lomas. This is a weird formation. Curl in trouble, forced out of the pocket, and he's going to be tackled for a loss by number 36, Shane Killian, and he killed that play, Tony.
Yeah, he did. 5 wide receivers spread that time, Dan. Don't see that very often. 3 wide receivers lined up here to the near side, and then actually they had the play rolling out to the left, and really Northgate was able to sniff it out pretty well, kept things covered down the field, and come up with a sack. So like you said, Northgate is coming up with some plays here. They've just got to eliminate their own mistakes.
Loss of 4, that'll be the last play of the first quarter. 6-0 Los Lomas, and we'll be back with the second quarter of action on Comcast after this.
At the end of the first quarter, score is Los Lomas.
Since 1980, Fresky Air Systems Incorporated has been keeping Contra Costa cool and comfortable. With an expert crew of technicians and staff, let Fresky be your indoor comfort professionals. Our Lennox Signature home comfort systems are designed to deliver efficient and economical air and heat for your individual needs. Air conditioning to heating, duct cleaning to emergency service calls, Fresky has you covered. From the homeowner to the commercial world, Fresky Air Systems Incorporated. Reliable and trusted service since 1980.
It doesn't matter what sport you play. It doesn't matter what position you play. It doesn't matter whether you're turning pro or just starting out. It doesn't even matter how old you are. If you want to maximize your potential, you need Velocity Sports Performance. Velocity Sports Performance. Maximize your potential. We guarantee it.
Quality fine art, collectibles, and framing. Peacock Expressions Gallery of Antioch has it all. A wide variety of custom framing to fit everyone's needs. A certified showcase gallery with unique art from Thomas Kincaid, Lenox Classics, Franz, Thomas Blackshear, Armani, Bradford Exchange, and more. From original art to posters, worldwide, national, and quality local art, where quality does not have to break the bank. Find that special gift for that special someone.
Start of the second quarter. Curl to throw. Rolling right side, throws, has a receiver. It's Davis once again, and Davis has a first down at the 23-yard line in Northgate.
And Curl actually is rolling out there on the move, throws a strike over there to Davis for that first down. Very accurate pass. One thing that many quarterbacks at no matter what level, Dan, have a problem with, and that's throwing well or with accuracy when they're on the move. Curl did a nice job of it that time.
First down at the 23 here. Just started the second quarter. Los Lomas leads 6-0. Battle of the Creek tonight. Next week it'll be the Battle of East County. It's Deer Valley at Pittsburgh. Both teams off to interesting starts out there. And this is your backup running back, number 22. We remember that number from last year. That was Kattenberg's number. That's Kevin Palaniuk, and he busts ahead for about 7.
Well, you said they had some depth. They showed it right there. Palaniuk making a nice gain. And really right now they're really exploiting that left side, able to find some good positive running room over there. And there's that game that you mentioned.
Yep, Deer Valley 1-2 to start the season against Pittsburgh, who's 2-1. Pittsburgh, of course, lost big to San Leandro in week 1, but has won 2 straight games. And we'll see the Pirates for the first time this year next week at home against the Deer Valley Wolverines. 2nd and 6.
Monaco Lara, number 53, going out. Second injury of the night here for the Knights.
Handoff, this is Palaniuk again, and Palaniuk has positive yardage inside the 20, drilled out of bounds, down around the 15. Number 21, Jonathan Craig, and number 28, Kevin Chatfield, were there for the Northgate defense, Tony. But as we mentioned, you got Palaniuk, you've got Pomerantz, and you've got Volan. They've got some depth here on the Los Lomas sideline.
Yeah, they're showing it so far, not skipping a beat since Stinson went out. And here's Palaniuk, just plenty of speed over there. The blocking does a nice job to take care of that the right defensive end there for Northgate. Plenty of room and good speed on the outside. Another good game here for the Knights.
Actually, Tony, just getting used to this field, that ball's actually at the 5-yard line. And here's Palaniuk again, down inside the 5, tackled at about the 2. And so it's going to be 2nd and goal as Los Lomas tries to get a second touchdown here in the first half. Tell us what you think. We want to hear from you, 933-6264. Send us an email at gotw@comcast.net.
Alex Machado, the tackler on that last play, able to get a hold of the ball carrier before he could get a full head of steam. And let's see if Northgate can keep the Knights out of the end zone.
Handoff, Palaniuk, touchdown. So just like that, after another turnover, Northgate goes down the field, and they score after the injury to Stinson with backup running back Palaniuk. He goes in from 2 yards out, and it's 12-0 Los Lomas.
Now Northgate can't keep him out of the end zone. So after the Navarro fumble, Los Lomas takes it 49 yards at the end, bridging the first quarter to the second quarter, and just like that, they're up by 2 scores.
And Los Lomas will be going.
Yeah, it looked like Northgate really had something going on there, take the ball away a couple of times. Their defense had a couple of good stands, but those turnovers are killing you, and that was their third.
Dan, they're just not good enough to overcome those kind of mistakes. They've got to play a very clean game.
They're going for 2. Curl runs with it. He's in trouble. He's looking, and now he's near the goal line, and he's stopped. And Navarra came over to make the hit there with number 19, Cameron Harrison, and the extra point conversion attempt there is no good. 12-0 here. Let's take a look at the touchdown, Tony.
Now it's going to be Palaniuk, sort of over that left side, actually right up the middle that time, and the blocking is just perfect. A hat and a hat, plenty of room to run. Second touchdown of the game. Stinson scored that big play, the opening possession on the first play from scrimmage, and now Palaniuk makes it 12-0 with that 2-yard blast.
12-0 Los Lomas second quarter. Let's say hello to these great friends of the program here on the Comcast Game of the Week. Amorosa Antique and Floral, Diablo Auto Sales, Jeffrey Hogue, Doctor of Dentistry, GamePod Combat Airsoft, Antioch Opticians, hi to Greg Vallejo, Images of 3 Hair Salon, hi to the girls down there, and Recovery Carpet Care if you need your carpet recovered. I think, if you've lost it. Keith White and Brett Anoni, Doctors of Dentistry, Roger Fernando, State Farm Insurance, the 19th Hole Casino and Lounge, Randy's Carpet Care, the New Mecca Cafe. Hey, hi to Guillermo and all the crew down there. Bridgehead Self Storage and Rock Bottom Records. Next week, Tony, the big new one from Nickelback. You know them, the big
I've heard of them.
Modern rock
band.
Yeah,
they're pretty good.
That comes out next week. Get it at Rock Bottom Records.
I'm more of a Green Day guy myself. As far
I saw
as new
Green
bands
Day
go.
last week.
Like them a lot.
Yeah, very good. Also wanted to mention at Brendan Theaters, Into the Blue with Jessica Alba, The Greatest Game Ever Played, and Serenity, new movies at Brendan Theaters in Concord and Pittsburgh this week.
If Jessica Alba's in it, I'll probably go see it. Except that movie, they made her the Invisible Girl, which I thought that was strange.
That's really dumb.
Why would you want her to be invisible?
No, I agree. And in this movie, she's in various stages of
quite a bit visible.
Yes, bikini clad, according to the newspaper today. So I'm sure there will be a huge crowd of teenage boys down at Into the Blue tomorrow night. Short kick taken by Pleschuk, and he is hammered at the 30-yard line, and then there was a late hit there. Who did that? That's number 42, John McGall. And that was, we like to say IHOPed or pancaked.
Yeah,
that was an IHOP right there, flattened at the point of contact. So Northgate will take over at the 30. They trail by 12, and they need to get down and challenge Los Lomas on their end of the field. Purchase your copy of this game, UPS shipping included, $25. Call 933-6264 or the email address there, and we can send you a VHS tape or a DVD of this game. That's Navarra for 3. A lot of hard hitting going on down there. Luke was there. We mentioned Luke, his brother Brian, is the starting quarterback at the University of Kansas. And there's a lot of great alum here from Los Lomas. And right after this play, we're going to tell you about the Northgate coaching staff, and we'll tell you a little bit about both coaching staffs over the year. There's Doug Longero, of course, our good friend for the past 5 years here. And we've had some great games. Some of the best games we've ever brought to you took place on the old field here, and now has been made into this beautiful new facility here in Walnut Creek. 2nd and 6 from the shotgun. Rankin fakes a throw, then just kind of lost one up. This is a jump ball, and it's incomplete. Yamashita was there as the pass was intended for Inman. Gossage was also there.
Very dangerous play that time.
Yeah, falls incomplete, Tony.
You look at Rankin here with the pump fake. Then he's in plenty of trouble, and he really just lets that one go. And he's going to throw this one into double coverage, and very fortunate this one does not get intercepted.
Ted Talion is out of Fresno State. That's where he went to college, Tony. He coached at Ignacio Valley for 5 years before taking over at Northgate. He's in his 16th season, and he teaches biology during the day. Eric Liming, Charlie Litton, Omar Ruiz, Rene Ruiz, and Zach Torrey are his assistants, and they coach not only the special teams, but the JV team by committee to have the same sort of system going. Here's a screen pass, and you ever want to say that a screen play was well played and well read? Johnny Volan did a great job right there.
Right on top of it. Volan was not fooled at all. He was standing waiting for the back Navarro to come up there, and as soon as Navarro made the catch, he was hit and dropped. And actually, the Broncos going to lose a couple of yards on that play. So I don't know if they had the Knights had seen something in the films or whatever, but they sensed that was coming right away, and they take care of that one easily.
4th and 12. Navarra is the punter. Good snap. And an end-over-end kick as Davis lets it bounce, and it's going to take a Los Lomas bounce and down at the 42-yard line by number 89, David Bourne. No return on that punt. 25-yard punt, no return. Comcast Game of the Week brought to you by these great friends of the program. Rocco's Ristorani and Pizzeria in Walnut Creek. Velocity Sports Performance in Concord. GamePod Combat Airsoft in Antioch. Diablo Auto Sales of Antioch. Amorosa Antique and Floral in Antioch. Mazet Pontiac in Pittsburgh. Also ParamountTechnology.com in Concord. If you need any work on your computer, give those guys a call. A penalty after the play sets the ball all the way back to the 32-yard line of Los Lomas. That's where the Knights will take over, up by 12, 8:28 to go here in the second quarter.
So obviously a big defensive series here for the Broncos. They need to stop and get good field position here.
Curl play action, goes down the center of the field, has a receiver, it's Harkins, he's at the 20, the 10, touchdown Los Lomas. What a play, first play of the drive, 68 yards. Quarterback Jordan Curl to number 5, Bo Harkins, and it's a touchdown, the second huge play of the game for Los Lomas. They lead 18-0.
Well, the defensive backfield is completely fooled on this play. And I had, just as I got through saying the Broncos need a good defensive stop, they give up the big play. Can't afford to do that. They've given up 2 here in the first half.
And Harkins was running all alone. Had beaten a couple of Northgate defenders. He scores the big touchdown. So the second play of more than 60 yards from scrimmage here in the first half, 18-0. Davis is on to attempt the extra point. Palaniuk the holder. The kick is up, and this time it's right down the middle. It's good, 19-0. Let's take a look at this. I think play action sold this. As you could see, Northgate kind of freeze at the line of scrimmage, and watch this. Curl had plenty of time, Tony.
Didn't even look like he made a play fake. Just everybody was fooled, and he's just really throwing a rainbow out there, and you can see how far back the defensive backs are. They are not even in the picture when Harkins makes that catch, and it's really just an easy touchdown here for the Knights. That looked really too easy that time.
So there's the touchdown. 19-0 Los Lomas here in the first quarter. Once again here at the beautiful new stadium at Los Lomas High School. We were talking, Tony, about this stadium. Let's tell you a little bit about Northgate Stadium. Stage 1 is the new scoreboard, which is a state-of-the-art scoreboard with goalposts and fencing around the facility. That's in place right now. Next year, Stage 2 is permanent new bleachers and press box. Stage 3 is field turf and track with lights. So by 2007, Northgate should have a field just like this for the first time. They played a couple of home games there, but as we mentioned, a lot of these teams moving off of playing at DVC, playing at Mount Diablo. Concord has its own field going up. College Park has talked about it. Ignacio has a new field going in. Northgate has a new field going in. Mount Diablo might have their own home field advantage finally after all these years of having to share that facility.
Yeah, it's just wonderful the way these facilities are popping up all over the place. And this isn't like just something they just threw together. I mean, these are well planned out, wonderful mini stadiums they've got going here.
Allen kicks. It's taken by Navarre at the 2, and he's back to the 20, makes a nice cut, still on his feet, has a couple of Knights to beat at the 40, beats one, he's at midfield. Navarre still on his feet, he's at the 40, he's at the 30, he's at the 20, he's still on his feet and knocked out of bounds at the 13-yard line. What a return, 85 yards for Navarre, no flags on the play.
Navarro is probably the biggest return guy you'll ever see. This time you're going to see he has good speed as well. And really, Dan, he just kind of outruns a lot of people and makes people miss. Take a look at it here. Biggest play for Northgate here to date. Coming here to the near side, then cuts it back here, and really just starts outrunning everybody the other side of the field. Going to make a nice move to make a defender miss there and keeps going. And boy, Northgate in business deep in Knights territory.
Northgate needs to score here to get back into the ball game from the 13, first down. Rankin, 2 backs, Johnson and Navarre. Play action, rolling, right side, and he's in trouble again. Gets away from one guy, makes a good cut. Rankin always able to get out of that first, out of the pursuit of that first defender for Los Lomas, and he gets 3 yards. And almost every time it looks like he's going to lose yardage. Tony.
It looked like he was going to lose yardage. Rolling out here, everything well covered. He's going to put it down, make a nice move right here to get himself some room. There's Johnny Volan among others there on the tackle. But really, Rankin doing a good job to make something out of nothing there because there was not a whole lot going on. We have an injured Knight here coming off the field.
God, that's the third Knight that's been hurt.
Charles Clancy, number 4,
He's limping off. Clancy's hurt. Morris is hurt. Stinson was hurt, and you can see there's a line of guys on the Los Lomas bench right now. Rankin to throw on second down, in trouble again, runs again, breaks a tackle, still on his feet, and knocked out of bounds near the 5-yard line.
Flag on the play, unfortunately, in the area of holding, Dan, so we'll check the call, but I got to think this is coming back, and the Broncos will be walking backwards. Take a look at it here, pretty much the same thing, trying to roll out. Makes very decisive here, he's going to run. Breaks a couple of tackles. How is he getting away from some of those tacklers right there? I don't know.
I thought I saw a handful of jersey back around the center snap area, and it is on Northgate, and they will be pushed back.
Ball is holding against Northgate. The 10-yard penalty.
I would assume the spot will be somewhere near about the 20-yard line, Tony. So Northgate, once again, as you mentioned, and you know, I think that's the big thing. Just about every team has some talent. Everyone has someone who can play. It's eliminating mistakes that kills you. And I'll tell you, on a different level, this is exactly what kills the Raiders every week. You read the stories in the newspaper every week. It's always about penalties and turnovers and ill-conceived plays at the wrong time. And that's kind of what's plaguing Northgate right now.
You know, your opponent's going to force you into some mistakes. You've got to eliminate the ones that you make all by yourself.
It's a good point. They actually spot this ball all the way out at the 25-yard line. 2nd and 23, Rankin from the shotgun, he throws, and it was intended for number 84, Anton Mironoff, and it's incomplete.
And another thing that Tellison told me as we look at the replay here, going over the middle, and Dan, very fortunate this ball is not intercepted, tipped, and then nearly intercepted here in the defensive backfield. But again, Coach Tellison told me, you know, we've got to eliminate these mistakes. We've got to avoid 3rd down and long, and what is it right now? Coach Tellian telling me they've got to eliminate those kind of things, and well, here they are in 3rd and 23.
23 for the Broncos. Under 7 minutes to go in the half.
Johnson goes in motion on 3rd down. Rankin to throw, and he is in trouble again. He's in trouble every time he drops back. This time throws into coverage. It's intercepted by Gossage, and Gossage, after a short return, drops down at the 20, but there's a flag on the play on the defensive side of the ball, and it could be a defensive hold.
I'm thinking defensive holding. I'm thinking a receiver was possibly impeded on his route. So this might give...
Impeded.
Impeded
on his route.
Yeah, stopped him. Didn't let him
on
go all the way through. Slowed him up, whatever you want to say, but hopefully for the Broncos, this is going against the Knights, and it'll give Northgate another chance, and it will. Yeah, where the flag is thrown tells you so much about what the penalty is going to be. So the Knights guilty of the infraction here as we take another look. And right now, Rankin, whenever he goes back to pass, Dan, it is just a jailbreak. He really does not have a whole lot of time here.
He's just running for his life every time, and that time he threw into coverage.
And a couple of times, Dan, he's really thrown the ball up for grabs.
Yep.
He's had one picked already, nearly had a couple others picked. And really, sometimes, you know, discretion, the better part of valor. If nothing's there, just throw the ball away.
So while the officials decide on the spot of the ball here, I don't know if this is one of those automatic 1st down plays. They haven't rolled over the down sign on the far sideline, Tony, but if it is, that would be very good for Northgate. Irregardless, they're going to get a couple more shots at this.
I think the difference is between defensive holding and defensive pass interference. I think the holding does not carry the automatic 1st down, where interference does.
It's still 3rd down and 13, the ball at the 16-yard line. So Northgate can get a 1st down inside the 3. 6:45 to go, 2nd quarter. Los Lomas by 19. We'll see the Knights again the week of October 29th and 30th against Acalanes, who's had a very good start. Although last week, one of the weirdest endings ever, with the blocked field goal and College Park winning the game on the last play of the game, 35-31. Here comes a blitz. Volan throws a pass for Navarra, and it hits the ground, incomplete. So Rankin read that time, but did not have enough time to get the pass to Navarra, and it's going to bring up 4th down.
Well, Johnny Volan is blitzing from that blind side. Rankin does not see him until the last moment. And then he's under a whole bunch of pressure, and he really just has to short hop the ball to the receiver, and that'll bring up 4th down now. Let's see. The Broncos want to kick a field goal. It hasn't been one of their strong suits this year, place kicking.
It looks like they're going to go for it here. Last year, Los Lomas won 55-7 in this series. They've won the last 3 games. Of course, that big loss, 41-21 in 2001 to the Northgate Broncos on their playoff run. And here's a pass. It's thrown. It's intended for Inman, and the referee calls that a touchdown. Inman came up with the ball in the end zone, rolled over, and you could see that the ref was shaking his head yes, and Northgate comes back and scores a touchdown. A shocker here in Walnut Creek. Inman made a great, either that was a bad call or a great catch. Either way, Tony, it's 19-6.
Yeah, I didn't think he had any chance of catching this ball. I thought this ball was a gopher ball all the way. I'm talking gopher like in the ground, but apparently he dug that up before it hit. We're going to have to check a replay here in just a moment. But really, the Broncos very fortunate to get out of this possession with points.
Welge the holder, Rankin kicks, the extra point is up, and it's good. And there's a penalty after the try for point there. It's 19-7 as we speak, but we'll have to wait to see what the penalty is. That came after the kick, Tony, so it could be sometimes a personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct type penalty, or a late hit. They're talking to Northgate. I think they're telling them they can have the play over at the 1. I think they should take the penalty. If they can take it on the kickoff, I would.
Take the point and then take it on the kickoff.
That's what I do if you can. We'll see what the call is here.
It's going to be the personal foul against the Knights. So the Broncos are going to take the point, and then we'll assess the penalty here on the kickoff.
Let's take a look at the replay here. Here's a good shot from the scissor lift in the end zone, I believe.
There's Rankin's pass, throwing.
There it is.
And that ball is clearly on the ground there.
I don't know, though. Boy. You watch that. That ball hits. Oh, it is. It's on the ground right there.
Yeah, that ball is clearly on the ground right there. So the referees missed that call. And really,
but then again, you got 4 guys, no replay, and 4 cameras versus 7 officials and 720 cameras in an NFL game. So it's 19-7. Northgate gets on the scoreboard. A pass from Rankin to Inman.
Yeah, it's not like NFL officials don't miss a few calls themselves.
Even with 7 and 720 cameras.
Even with the peekaboo, they got the whole thing going on there, and they're still not going to get all the calls right. But very fortunate that time for the Knights.
Now, Northgate will kick from the 45-yard line. Now, there used to be a rule in the NFL, I don't know if it was ever in high school, that you at the last play of the half, you could kick the ball like this, and if you went through, it was a field goal. Remember that?
Points.
Remember that? That was a weird rule. In the CFL, I think you get a franchise if you do this. You get a team. I'd try an onside kick right here, Tony.
Not a bad idea.
That's what I would do. I mean, even if they get it, they're at the 35.
Not going to get great field position anyway.
But they don't. They kick it. And Rankin puts his boot into it, and it's in the end zone. Los Lomas will take over at the 20 with a 19-7 lead with 6:29 to go in the second quarter. Let's say hello to the great friends of the program here, the Comcast Friday Night High School Game of the Week. Next week from Pittsburgh High School. Rocco's Ristorani and Pizzeria voted best pizza in the East Bay at Ignacio Valley Road in Oak Grove. Great pizza tonight for the crew meal. The pepperoni pizza there is spectacular, Tony. Brennan Theaters, Movie Magic in Concord and Pittsburgh. 4 Brothers with Mark Wahlberg. Remember that? That's a good action flick. A lot of guys get shot. Enjoyable action entertainment. Yeah, it's good stuff to watch. It's still out there at the Brennan Theaters. Hertz Equipment Rental in Pacheco. First down for Curl and the Knights. And he throws deep on first down and has a receiver, and it's just out of the reach of Davis at about the 40-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 10. While we have an opportunity, Tony, now let's say hello to the coaching staff for Doug Longero here at Los Lomas. He's in his 7th year as the head coach, went to college at UC Davis. Nick Pavlich, Warren Parker, Greg Beeker, you might remember that name. He played for
NFL player.
Played for the Raiders and the Minnesota Vikings. He is now the defensive coordinator. Rob Bunting, Jim Carlson are the coaching staff here at Los Lomas, one of the great coaching staffs in the area. The athletic director here is Linda Sawyer. Last year, the Knights were 8-5, 6-3 overall, and we saw them in the loss in the 3A final to San Ramon down at Foothill. They've been in the Final Four the last 5 years.
Yeah, quite a program they've got going here, building up a big winning tradition.
Handoff on a little end around. That's Ori On. That's his name, Ori On. That's a great name. Well, names of the game. And he gets a first down. There he is.
Yeah, I mean, his first name is Ori, and his last name is
On.
Yeah, sounds like one name, and they've made it into two. Nice play right here, run to that far side of the field. Picks up another nice gain. There's Swisher doing a nice job of blocking. Tackle comes in there. Jonathan Chang dragging down the ball carrier.
Gain of 11, first down from the 31. Clock running now, 5:44 to go first half. Here's a handoff to Palaniuk. And he is out to about the 36, gain of 5.
Kevin Chatfield coming up from the defensive secondary to make that stop. The Palaniuk doing what Stinson was doing, gaining yards after initial contact so they can take a hit and keep going. These guys don't look all that big. They've got speed. They've also got a little power, and what's really important, Dan, good balance.
Second down. Davis in motion. And a handoff on a misdirection play into the line. This is Adam Pomerantz, and Pomerantz is across midfield out to the 46-yard line in Northgate. It'll be a first down. A gain that time of 18 yards for the senior.
You know, right now it's not looking good defensively here for the Broncos. The last couple of pass plays, the Knights got the big pass play for the touchdown. They had a wide open receiver that just a bit of an overthrow, and every time the Knights run the ball, they're finding plenty of room either around the ends or right up the middle.
First down from the 46. Looks like the same formation, looked like the same play. And Pomerantz that time.
Much better defense here by the Broncos, able to get there into the secondary to make the stop, and Bobby Linton, number 51, the linebacker, comes up to do the honors.
Much better result this time, though.
Much better.
Just a 1-yard gain.
Clock continues to roll here, and of course the Knights looking to take the ball down the field, take all the time off the clock, and get another score.
Comcast Game of the Week, only seen on your Comcast local origination channel. Here's an interesting point for you, Tony. Los Lomas, with all their final appearances and playoff victories, has not won a league title since 1987. Curl to pass, throws over the middle. It's intended for Swisher, and a fight there.
Going to go for the offense.
That's a tough one because, they're going to give that to Welge. No, then they turn around and give it to Swisher.
Yeah, he pointed the wrong way. When a defender and an offensive player both have it always goes to the offensive player.
Tie goes to the runner sort of situation.
The same, along the same lines there. But here's the play. Very well covered here. Defensive pass rush is very nice. And look at this. There's Swisher making the catch, but there's a defender hanging onto the ball. And when the official comes up, he just points the wrong way. But another big play here by the Knights.
Can you imagine trying to take the drumstick away from him at Thanksgiving dinner?
It'd be very tough.
Very tough.
Just keep your hands and feet away from his mouth and you'll be all right.
4:06 to go second quarter. After that pass play, near the 30 is Los Lomas. They'll have a first down. Northgate calls a timeout. Here's some of the stats for you so far. Curl has thrown for 97 yards. Stinson ran for 100 before the injury. Palaniuk now has 28 on 5 carries. Davis a couple of catches for 21. Of course, Harkins had the big catch for 68 yards and the touchdown for Los Lomas. Los Lomas always a team with a lot of stats. That's what I said shocked me about that opening game loss, 9-0 to Mitty. Because Los Lomas, some of the great games we've had here, if you remember back in our history, right here, College Park, the first year we did the game, 4 days after 9/11. The Steve Linigan game for College Park where he was godlike for College Park and led them all the way back, and then with a minute or so to go, J.C. Lewis snuck in for the go-ahead touchdown. We had the 48-41 Miramonte Los Lomas game here. Of course, Los Lomas has also played a couple of great playoff games, and of course the Clayton Valley game in triple overtime. Tony, I believe you were there with us doing sideline reporting that night, but that was one of the great high school games ever in this area.
Look at some of, Lawliger and Yamashita, and you mentioned J.C. Lewis. They've had a lot of good offensive players here. Brian Kattenberg, and really, I said the Riverboat Gambler not afraid to open up the offense, and they've been very productive on that side of the ball.
Northgate 31-yard line.
Pitch to Palaniuk, and he is positive yardage and a first down inside the 20, and he's finally drugged down from behind. I think Chatfield was in on that tackle, as well as number 68, Dean Cole. First down again for the Knights. A run of 14 yards. So as I mentioned, Tony, when you have depth like this, not that you want to see guys like Stinson hurt, but I guess if Stinson was going to get hurt, you'd want to put him on the bench after shut him down after in a game like this against not one of the big powers of the DFAL. If this was an Acalanes or Miramani game, or Campolindo, maybe hurt the Knights a little bit more. Two wide receivers, near side, offset backs, handoff Palaniuk, up the middle once again, and number 60 for Northgate, Joseph Jordan, makes the tackle after a gain of about 5.
Well, you talk about it, Los Lomas wants to keep some of those guys healthy and make sure they've got a lot of their regulars, because they've got Miramani coming up, Dan, College Park, and Acalanes all in the month of October, and all those teams right now in the DFL standings at 2-1. So they've really got some very tough, very important games coming up here in league, and they want to make sure they have all their bullets firing when they do play those good teams.
Second down. Davis in motion. Handoff Palaniuk. And he's only going to get maybe a yard, maybe even didn't get anything on that one, just a slight loss. It's going to bring up a third down here. 2:46 to go in the first half.
I'll tell you what, though, Dan, they can go ahead and run the football here because, as you see there, Kevin Palaniuk coming off the field. Place kicking has not been the best part of their game here. And when I talk to Coach Langero, he says fourth down, chances are we're probably going to go for it anyway.
Third and about 6 here. Swisher lines up on the right side, play action curl, throws to Swisher out in the flat. Swisher has it, and he has a first down at the 4-yard line. It's going to be first and goal for Northgate, and that's a guy that you just don't want to get in front of him when he's running with the ball, Tony. Watch this, the big man Swisher here.
But I'll tell you, if you do get in front of him, you want to get low just like this and chop him down. He really comes down like a ton of bricks there, because if you hit him high, he's really going to break your back.
Kevin Chatfield made the tackle. First down at the 4. So Northgate trying to go up here by 3 scores with 2 minutes to go in the first half. Powerhouse backfield, Pomerantz behind 2 blockers, tackled at the 2, and the ball, I think someone's on the ground. Nope, they're going to say that it's a second down after a gain of 2. I saw the FAR official kind of looking into the pile to see if he could identify a fumble.
His yard marker down on the field there.
But
mark where the ball was initially down.
There's the infirmary here at Los Lomas. Stinson on the left, Mari's on the right.
A MASH unit going on over here.
Excuse me, it's Laris. Monaco Laris, not Morris, excuse me, check that. And here's a touchdown. Pomerantz from 2 yards out. So Los Lomas can do it long, Tony, and they can do it from short distance as well. The second short touchdown after a mistake. And it's 25-7, Los Lomas here with 1:12 to go in the first half.
Well, taking nearly 5.5 minutes off the clock, going 80 yards for the touchdown. And on the first play of this drive, they had what looked like a big touchdown pass play, a little bit over, out of the reach of the receiver. But no matter, Dan, runs, passes, take your pick right down the field.
Right, that was after the short kickoff that they actually had a chance to go all the way down the field, 80 yards, Tony. So now they're going to go for 2. Swisher in motion. They're going to hand the ball to Swisher, and Swisher could run down to the mall on North Main Street with that ball on that one, Tony. 2-point conversion is good. 27-7, Los Lomas. Let's take a look at the touchdown here.
There it is. Nothing fancy. Pomerantz right up the gut. Takes on a hit. Bangs into the end zone for the touchdown. 2-point conversion is good. And even though after that kind of a lucky break, really, there for the Broncos to get that touchdown. Then they got the penalty. And still, it's the Knights in full control here by 20.
Let's say hello to the great friends of the program. Peacock Expressions Gallery. Corner of 3rd and G Streets in Antioch. Call 754-9022. Hertz Equipment Rental in Pacheco. Thanks for the scissor lift tonight, guys. And every night you're out here with us on Comcast. Velocity Sports Performance. If you need to train your athlete of the future, that's the place to take them in Concord. Freshy Air Systems Incorporated, residential, commercial, and industrial in Antioch. Paramount Technology, located behind Tower Records in Concord. And Mazet Pontiac Cadillac GMC, now located in Pittsburgh's Auto Row. Great place to go if you need to buy a new car. They have quite the inventory out there, Tony. There's the scoreboard. This brand new field here, George DeClotte Stadium. 27-7, Los Lomas here late in the second quarter. Don't forget next week it's Deer Valley with their great back Chris Allen traveling to Pittsburgh to take on Craig Pfeiffer and the Pittsburgh Pirates. We'll have all the action for you Saturday and Sunday at 7 p.m. In 2 weeks, a very interesting game, not a league game. Monte Vista playing a big game tonight against California, who could be undefeated depending on what happens, against Freedom, who's had a very good start. They beat Clayton Valley last week.
Yeah, talk about a team that's up and coming.
So we'll see Freedom against Monte Vista in 2 weeks. This is Navarro, who had a big return the last time. Not this time, though. A 10-yard return. Tony, there are 6 Knights there to make the tackle, including Clancy, who's back playing after the injury earlier this quarter.
Yeah, but Navarro, not a whole lot of room that time after that big return the last time. Going down hard this time, and really just 1:04 to go. You wonder what the Broncos are going to do. Obviously, they need points, but can you afford to make a mistake this deep in their own territory?
1 minute and 4 seconds to go, second quarter. First down. Rankin hands off to Johnson. Johnson bangs away for about 3. And it looks like Northgate is just going to run a couple of plays and get out of here. But I'll give Northgate credit. They've hung around. You know, they've made some nice plays. One thing they've done when they've been able to is get some pressure on the quarterback. The 2 times he had a lot of times to throw is he picked them apart the one time with the long pass play. And some of the play action plays have worked, like the last little pass out in the flat to Swisher. So if they get some pressure on Curl, I think they can make some things happen defensively.
You know, some things looked like they were going well, and then all of a sudden the Knight offense really got started, and no matter what they did, the Broncos couldn't stop it.
Second down, handoff to Navarra, and he is going to barely get back to the line of scrimmage. Volan was there, Pomerantz up off the pile.
And that should just about
and
do
Luke
it.
was there as well, and that should do it for the first half of play. You can see the clock running down. 27-7, Los Lomas here from Walnut Creek tonight. It's halftime at George DeClotte Stadium, the high school game of the week here on Comcast, and we mentioned the score, Los Lomas 27, Northgate 7. We'll be back with highlights and stats after this on Comcast.
27, Northgate 7.
Hi, I'm Rocco Bialy, and this is my family.
I'm Dante. I'm Dominic. And I'm Nina.
For the past 5 years, Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria has been the proud sponsor of the Comcast High School Game of the Week. As a neighborhood restaurant, being part of our community has been very important to my family and staff. I'd like to personally invite you to become part of our family. Great pizza, great pasta, and great people. Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria, a part of your community.
Tonight's Comcast Game of the Week is made possible in part by a generous donation from the dentistry offices of Keith White and Brett Annoni DDS. Keith White and Brett Annoni have been serving Central Contra Costa County for years with a personal commitment to their patients in uncompromising dental care with an atmosphere of comfort and experience. With state-of-the-art sterilization techniques and equipment, which includes digital x-rays, their staff of highly trained professionals will make your every visit one you'll look forward to in the future. That's Keith White and Brett Annoni DDS and staff. State Farm agent Roger Fernando, located in the Crow Canyon Commons Shopping Center in San Ramon. When a coach understands the player's strengths, developing a winning strategy is easy. That's also true with State Farm agent Roger Fernando. Roger knows your insurance and financial situation isn't exactly like anyone else's. But, like a great coach, Roger and his team of professionals create a strategy to meet your individual needs. See State Farm agent Roger Fernando and his team at 3211A Crow Canyon Place in San Ramon. The 19th Hole Casino at West Tregallis Road. Established in 1967, the 19th hole has been completely renovated. Open 7 days a week, they feature Texas Hold'em, No Bust 21 Blackjack, Lowball, High-Low Split, Pai Gow, and provide Keno and lottery sales. Every Tuesday and Wednesday beginning at 5:30 p.m., it's a no-limit Texas Hold'em shootout with winner-take-all. Friday and Saturday night is karaoke at 9 p.m., and Sunday at 9 a.m. is the NFL ticket on all the 14 TVs. And come play in the Sunday no-limit Texas Hold'em tournament. That's the 19th hole behind the post office in Antioch. Make big messes no longer a problem. Experience the difference in a real professional. Randy's Carpet Care. Improve your indoor living to a clean, healthy environment. IICRC certified master cleaning specialist in carpet, upholstery, odor control, and stain removal. Owner-operator and family-friendly. Call today to reserve your spot. Randy's Carpet Care. We exist to serve you. Call 925-518-1088. Bridgehead Self-Storage of Antioch, located behind Kmart off Highway 4 and East 18th Street. Bridgehead Self-Storage has from 5x6 to 10x40 24-hour security units for those extra things you just can't fit in the garage anymore. RV and boat storage spaces are also available, along with packing and moving supplies. That's Bridgehead Self-Storage of Antioch, behind Kmart, off Highway 4. The new Mecca Cafe on Railroad Avenue in downtown Pittsburgh, serving Contra Costa and beyond for over 30 years. Eat in or order to go. Guillermo and his crew cook with pride. Rock Bottom Records in Antioch. We buy and sell used DVDs and CDs 7 days a week. Listen to any compact disc in the store in one of our in-store listening stations. Special order millions of discs or DVDs on the Muse on our in-store computer that can find just about any release on Earth. T-shirts, posters, black lights, stickers, and one of the biggest selections of cassettes anywhere. This year celebrating our 25th year anniversary. Antioch Opticians Glasses and Contact Lenses in the Rayleigh Shopping Center on Lone Tree Way in Antioch. Since 1973, Antioch Opticians has carried over 3,000 frames to meet your special needs and repair broken frames. They have their own in-house laboratory for fast, accurate service. 1-hour service in most cases. That's Antioch Opticians, 3714 Lone Tree Way in Antioch. Thanks again to all of our friends from the Comcast Game of the Week.
I got one! Quick, reel it in! Hey, look, it's already marinated!
No, it's dead and it's covered with oil and grime. And you don't marinate fish.
It's dead, but why?
Because of that guy. He's dumping his used oil and filter on the ground next to the Delta.
Look, here comes Mr. Funnelhead to save the Delta. No, the world.
Hey, stop that! Don't you know that by dumping your used oil and filters into the Delta, you're destroying our water supply? Too many gallons of used oil and sewage have already contaminated our waters. And even though the average used oil filter looks empty, it still contains up to a cup of used motor oil. Take your used oil and filters to a certified used oil recycling center where they can properly recycle the oil and filter for a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-NO-DUMPING or check out our website at www.funnelhead.com.
Looking for quality equipment rental with a helpful, friendly staff? Hertz Equipment Rental of Pacheco has over 4,100 pieces of reliable equipment to choose from, ready for delivery. Or if you're looking to purchase equipment, check out our pre-owned equipment sales list for super bargains on well-maintained pre-owned equipment. With Hertz, you have the right tool to get the job done. That's Hertz Equipment Rental at their new location, 30 South Buchanan Circle in Pacheco. Call Hertz today, 925-680-0316.
What is a coach? A teacher, a motivator, a leader. The person who sees your athletic potential and maximizes it, regardless of the sport. At Velocity Sports Performance, you train with a highly qualified coach every time you train. Your coach makes you work hard, but your coach makes you a better athlete. Train with a coach who knows. Velocity Sports Performance. Maximize your potential. We guarantee it.
Is your laptop or home computer driving you crazy? Paramount Technology of Concord has the answers. Located behind Tower Records in Concord, Paramount Technology has it all. Quick in-house laptop repair and servicing, mobile computer service calls, and great customer service for those wishing to have a computer made to your specifications. Your computer wizards with expert service and products for today's computer world. That's Paramount Technology of Concord at 1252 Diamond Boulevard in Concord, the computer wizards of Contra Costa.
Back at Los Lomas High School, a halftime score, the Knights 27 and the Northgate Broncos 7. Dan Wall with Tony Schultz here, Matt Bolander, our great crew. Here's the stats in the first half, Tony. You can see dominated by Los Lomas, 278-59. You can see that big rushing total, aided by Doug Stinson's 100 yards before his injury. Actually, the one play, Tony, for Northgate wasn't a turnover, it was fourth down, so they would have lost the ball anyway. So 2 turnovers to 1 and not too much in the penalty area there. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. A lot of big plays for Los Lomas.
Yeah, Stinson is the first one here. This is the first play from scrimmage. Nice cutback here across the middle of the field and just outrunning the defense. That was a big play to get it all started off. 67 yards, I believe 66 officially on that run. And got the Knights off to an early lead there.
That's Stinson, who had, as we mentioned, 100 yards before his injury. Then here's a little short burst, Palaniuk, a 2-yard run. That made it 12-0. As you mentioned, some problems with the place-kicking game, and they went for 2 and didn't get it. This is the third touchdown. This is the long one to Harkins, 68 yards.
And he is just absolutely wide open. You can see how much of a distance he has got on Rankin there, who's playing free safety, not even close. And a very easy touchdown that time for Los Lomas.
Northgate finally got on the board on this controversial play. Tony thinks the ball was on the ground in the end zone, but irregardless, they called a touchdown here. Inman came up with that. Unless that was just the immaculate reception, Tony, on that one there. 13-yard pass from Rankin. The kick was good, 19-7. Here as you see the call. And then late in the half, this is Pomerantz, who had a fairly decent half as well.
Sort of finishing off an 80-yard, 5.5-minute drive right there to get that other touchdown.
Here's a couple of the individual stats. Palaniuk, 8 rushes, 43 yards. Curls 5 of 7 for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. And, of course, the big catch there, Harkins, the 68-yarder. Swisher also caught a couple for 28 yards. Davis, 2 receptions, 21 yards. Johnson has 5 carries for 24 yards for Northgate. Rankin's 4-9 for 30 yards passing. Inman has 3 receptions for 11 yards.
2.5 receptions.
Exactly. 27-7 Los Lomas, and we'll be back with third quarter action from Los Lomas High School after this on Comcast.
Tonight's Comcast Game of the Week is made possible in part by a generous donation from Amorosa's Antique and Floral in Antioch, located at 204 G Street in the Old Rivertown district of Antioch. Amorosa's specializes in fresh flowers for weddings and special events with a large variety of gift items such as French soaps and candles, French jewelry, tea sets, and more. Come by today and let Amorosa's find that special gift for that special someone. That's Amorosa's Antique and Floral in the historic Rivertown district of downtown Antioch. Looking for a car or truck but having trouble getting approved credit? Let Diablo Auto Sales of Antioch find that perfect vehicle that fits your every need. With great customer service, selection, and a qualified sales staff, Diablo Auto Sales of Antioch can make your next car a reality. Se habla español. That's Diablo Auto Sales of Antioch at 1006 West 10th Street in downtown Antioch. The dentistry offices of Jeffrey Hogue, DDS. Jeffrey Hogue, DDS, and his staff has been serving East County for years with a personal commitment to their clients in uncompromising dental care with an atmosphere of comfort and experience. With state-of-the-art sterilization techniques and equipment, their staff of highly trained professionals will make your every visit one you'll look forward to in the future. That's Jeffrey Hogue, DDS, and staff at 5201 Deer Valley Road, Suite 3A in Antioch. There are 2 types of airsoft players, the well-equipped and the targets. GamePod Combat Airsoft provides one of the largest selections of airsoft inventory in the U.S. From beginners to advanced players, GamePod has it all. Specializing in competition-grade airsoft guns and accessories, BDUs, hydration systems, accessories, night vision, and the all-new Raptor fast attack vehicles. GamePod, where the elite will meet. Restore your carpet with Recovery Carpet Cleaning. It's the only way to clean your home, business, car, RV, or boat. Receive professional and dependable service with a brand new, state-of-the-art, truck-mounted system. This system will restore and clean your carpet and upholstery with a powerful dirt extraction system that you are sure to see and feel. Carpet and upholstery will be dry in hours, not days, and there won't be that chemical feeling after it's done. Brendan Theaters of Concord and Pittsburgh, featuring 14 screens of movie magic. All theaters have Lucasfilm THX digital sound systems and stadium-style seating. The prize wheel spins weekly with great prizes. The Prize Patrol, promotional events, and other activities happen monthly with great giveaways and prizes. Check out the Brendan Theater website for more information and great savings ideas. Your favorite films in a great environment, all at Brendan Theaters of Concord and Pittsburgh. Enjoy the movie. Thanks again to all of our friends from the Comcast Game of the Week.
Get ready, Northern California. Mazet Pontiac Cadillac Buick GMC has a huge selection of new and certified pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Mazet invites you to experience our superior service and selection. Our new state-of-the-art facility and team of experts will make your car buying experience the best in the Bay Area.
Hi, I'm Matt Mazet. Whether it's a Cadillac Escalade or a GMC truck, I'll guarantee you the right car at the right price. Come by and see us today.
Discover the difference at Mazet Pontiac Cadillac Buick GMC in the Century Auto Plaza, Pittsburgh.
It doesn't matter what sport you play. It doesn't matter what position you play. It doesn't matter whether you're turning pro or just starting out. It doesn't even matter how old you are. If you want to maximize your potential, you need Velocity Sports Performance. Velocity Sports Performance. Maximize your potential. We guarantee it.
Great Mexican food, home of the famous margarita, and fun and food in a festive environment. That's Celia's of Antioch. For over 30 years, Celia's has served specialties like fajita supreme, camarones a la ranchera, and other great Mexican food that has brought people from around the area to eat. Every Thursday night is live music from Trio and Saturday night mariachis. That's Celia's of Antioch for great Mexican food.
Back at Los Lomas High School, 27-7 Knights at halftime here. And let's tell you a little bit about the West Coast Jamboree, December 27th through the 31st, 2005. Teams coming from Tennessee, Arizona, Nevada, all throughout California. This year we'll have 152 teams in 18 different divisions, playing at 11 different sites, including Miramani, Bentley, Acalanes, Ignacio Valley in the central Contra Costa area, and also Liberty, Freedom, Deer Valley, and Pittsburgh high schools. We'll also use LMC and DVC, so check the Contra Costa Times for games. Dave Jackson, our stat guy, does a great job with the West Coast Jamboree, and we will also be covering the Comcast Game of the Week. We'll do the first game on Tuesday with Carondelet with Jane Appel, the great big center who we saw last year. And also, just to give you a little bit and get you pumped up, we'll show you our football schedule. I can tell you one thing about the basketball schedule as well. You can see we're here on the 30th, Northgate, Los Lomas. Next week, Deer Valley at Pittsburgh. In 2 weeks, Freedom at Monte Vista. Should be an interesting game. And then, of course, on the 21st, the Big Green Machine, the De La Salle Spartans at Pittsburgh, in one of the feature games of the year. We'll be back here on October 28th for Acalanes at Los Lomas, in Antioch on November 4th to see the Eagles battle the Panthers. And then the Bell game, November 11th, Liberty at Freedom. The next afternoon, we're at Antioch, Pittsburgh at Antioch, the 86th Big Little game.
So a host of great football coming up. You got the West Coast Jamboree. Just sports abound here on Comcast.
2005 Battle of the Creek.
Well, here come the Knights back on the field. We get set for the second half, and of course, big first half here for the Knights to see if they can match that here in the last 2 quarters of the ball game.
Also, just talking about basketball, Tony, we won't have to wait long to see the 2 feature teams in this area. Clayton Valley, Drew Menez returns. He was one of the players of the year. And of course, De La Salle, great team as always under Frank Alaco. In the first week on a Friday night, they play at Clayton Valley. We'll have that game for you. And probably try to do both of them this year because those are going to be fabulous
we had
games.
them last year, of course, and that was such a great game.
Clayton Valley beat them in the second game in overtime at their place. The Comcast Game of the Week, only seen on your Comcast local origination channel. Don't forget all the local sports, whether we do football, baseball, basketball. There's always the possibility of a soccer game, a volleyball game, a rugby game. I don't know. How about darts? There's a big dart tournament coming up.
We might as well start doing poker. I mean, ESPN's doing it.
I don't know if you can at the high school level, Tony, but I'm sure they have a tournament in mind if you can. Kind of amazing what's going on. There's the truck. There's Matt in the truck with Morgan and Johnny Wu tonight. Johnny Wu's a real person, by the way, folks. We don't make that name up. I think that's Johnny throwing out a little heavy metal sign to you. There they are. They're having fun down there in the truck. Of course, our great crew out here as always, and we'll be with you again next week from Pittsburgh High School. That should be a fun game. Deer Valley with Chris Allen, a very quick, elusive runner. We saw him last year against San Ramon, Tony. And of course, the Pittsburgh Pirates just trying to get some sense of stability there. They lost a number of their starters early in the season, and they're just trying to get it back together. However, they did beat Freedom and then beat Vintage last week. So we know Vic Galley will have the Pirates ready for Comcast to come in there as we get ready for the second half here. Nice nice crowd out here tonight for the first time. You know, this is a much bigger stadium than the old one. The old one was always full because it wasn't very big.
Because there wasn't any seats.
It was like going from the San Jose Civic to the arena, you know.
Right.
So now it looks a little emptier, but probably still the same amount of people as would normally be here. You can see the crowd
Still
here.
a good crowd as they pan the bleachers there. A lot of people here. Everybody having fun. What a nice place to be here on a Friday evening.
Northgate will get the second half kickoff. Let's see if we have any other news to share with you here tonight. We mentioned on the Northgate side, one of the interesting things after talking to Coach Tellian, he had some great things to say about his team. As a matter of fact, his whole coaching staff are Northgate graduates that played on those big teams that they had back in the early 90s, and they've all come back to school.
And maybe slow motion that
Want to tell you also about after the game, CC Rock. That's UFO, the great UFO, Phil Mogg, and that's Jason Bonham on drums, the son of the late great John Bonham from Led Zeppelin. And they played in San Francisco earlier this year, and we had them on CC Rock. And I'm sure Matt will have a new CC Rock for you. He's always trying to put those together.
Give Comcast the call.
Don't think I've spun a UFO album since circa 1978.
I listen to UFO all the time. See, Tony, you got to pick that stuff up. Lights Out in London. Come on, baby.
Oh, I love that one.
That's a great one.
Great tune.
Anyway, back to Northgate, Tony. There's the scissor lift for you, Hertz Equipment Rental in Pacheco. The thing with Northgate is they're trying to build a program back up. They're trying to get some players out. This year, the freshmen have 40 players out. That's a lot for them. Mickey Wharton is the coach with Mike Hahn and Mike Graney. All these guys went to Northgate and have come back to help Coach Ted Tellian. Now, Coach Tellian coached at Ignacio back when I was playing. He even remembers when they used to call Northgate. And here's a good trivia question. Do you know what it was called in its first year of existence, Tony?
God, no.
YV South.
YV South.
Which was Ignacio
Valley South, okay.
Yep. And we actually played them at Park Junior High in a freshman game. Short kick to start the second half. Oh, and that's taken by Igor Pleschuk, and he's tackled after a short gain at about the 29-yard line. I wanted to point out, Tony, some great names, but if you look at that line there of Pleschuk, Mironov, and Uchi, that sounds like something the Sharks might face when the NHL regular season starts.
Playing a little hockey out here.
First and 10, their own 30-yard line.
As a matter of fact, Tony, I'm missing a Sharks game tonight, and I know that shocks a lot of people.
Boy,
but you know, I do it for the Comcast Football Game of the Week.
There's only what?
Well, there's one
68
exhibition
to go.
No, there's one more exhibition game, which is tonight, and the Sharks are 6-0. Good for us. And then we start an 82-game regular season.
82 games.
Yeah, so I'll be at all those home games. Quick pass on first down, Inman, and he takes it out, man.
Inman making the catch there on the sideline. Nice start to Northgate's drive to complete the pass. Good yardage, and he's out of bounds.
8-yard gain.
Just a quick out pattern here, not very deep.
Good for 8.
Inman open, the ball is on target. And he picks up a pretty nice gain there on first down.
Drew Gossage rode him out of bounds at the 38-yard line. 2nd and 2, just underway, third quarter. 27-7, Los Lomas. This is Johnson, runs into one of his own men, and then he's dumped at the 40, or right just short of it. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 1. And how many times have we seen 3rd and 1 tonight for Northgate?
Yeah, not end up to be a first down. They've only picked up 3 all night.
There's a nice shot from the scissor lift here at the new field at Los Lomas High School. There's a nice panoramic view of the crowd here tonight at Los Lomas, the new press box here. 3rd and short, and Rankin isn't going to get there. Swisher was there to knock him down. And it's going to bring up a 4th down after a loss of 2.
I'll tell you, this is going to be an interesting call here, Dan. Down by 20 points, but on your own side of the field. Do you roll the dice and go for it here on a 4th and short?
About 2, a loss of 1 on that play.
That's a quarterback sneak right there, but boy, not sneaking anywhere. The Knights defense very ready for that and really made a quick pop. And actually, Northgate might have lost a half yard on that play.
Looks like Northgate's going to line up to go for it here on 4th and 2.
See if they're going to actually run a play or just use the long count.
They hand off to Johnson, and I think Johnson just barely squeaked over the 40 for the first down.
Boy, he needed a half yard beyond the 40-yard line, and I don't know that they gave it to him. They did give it to him. That's going to be a first down, but very, very close. And Northgate breathing a sigh of relief as this drive continues here. So very hard 2 yards there in those last 3 plays, Dan, after picking up 8 yards on first down to start this drive. And finding it very tough going to pick up those last 2.
They're on the 40-yard line.
Good for the Concord Minutemen as well, Tony, we have first down here. I wanted to mention after this play, I'll give you the thought. Rankin down the middle, has a receiver. It's Inman, he's at the 20. He's at the 10, knocked out of his hands, but out of bounds at the 6-yard line. A great play by Gossage, but that's a big play, and it'll be a first down for Northgate.
Oh, Inman wide open down the field. And again, what a job by Steve Rankin to get away from the rush down here out of the shotgun. Going to get pressure. Looks like he's going down, able to step through a tackle, and then moving up in the pocket, delivers the ball. And there you see Inman beyond the defenders, and then here tackled as he's chased down there on a fumble, but it's out of bounds. A big break there for the Broncos. And Dan, they're right on the verge of getting back in this football game.
54-yard gain, first down. I was just going to mention, look at the top of the DFAL standings right now. Concord tied with Los Lomas 2-0. It's been a long time since you could say that about the Concord Minutemen. We saw them last week here on the Comcast Game of the Week. First down. Rankin hands off Johnson straight up the gut, and then he is hammered by Volan and number 54 for the first time tonight, Kevin Camrani.
So right up the middle, not finding very much room. The Knights able to bottle that one up very well. Taking a look across.
That's Coach Tellian on the sideline with Rankin.
And Northgate Brain Trust over there.
Down and goal to go at the Los Lomas 6-yard line.
It might have been Luke who made that tackle, Tony, as we check a little closer. Now we have a timeout Northgate here. 8:58 to go, third quarter, 27-7. Northgate driving here on the 6-yard line. And let's say hi to these great friends of the program on tonight's Comcast Game of the Week. Ooh, a little rat in the background. Always like that. Comcast Game of the Week brought to you by Rocco's Ristorante Pizzeria in Walnut Creek. Contra Costa Clean Water Program and Mr. Funnelhead. Velocity Sports Performance. Brendan Theaters in Concord and Pittsburgh. Movie Magic. Hertz Equipment Rental. Peacock Expressions Gallery in Antioch. Thanks to all of our great sponsors. Couldn't do it without you week after week here on the Comcast Game of the Week. There's the scissor lift way up over the new track here.
You know, and when you say couldn't do it without you, you're not just paying lip service to that, because we really couldn't do it without.
There'd be no Game of the Week without the great friends of the program. So we've added 25 yards to Northgate's total, 84 yards in the first half, 59 rushing yards. So Dave Jackson found that error. Thanks to Dave for doing that for us. So a little meeting of the minds out there. Northgate with 6 yards to go to try to get in the end zone here, and you never know, Tony. You pull within couple touchdowns, you never know with a mistake or something, you're back in the game.
No,
but I think they have to score right now.
No, a 2-score game with this much time left in is just a normal football game, and you know you don't like to use those timeouts early. You know, you like to save them for late if you want to get a couple extra plays. But right now, Northgate has got to be on the same page, and they've got to avoid the mistake. They need to score a touchdown here on this drive.
Rankin under center, play action, rolling away from pressure, waiting, looking, now throwing. It's tipped. It was intended for Navarre in the end zone and tipped away. It's going to bring up third down.
You know, it looked like a pretty nice fake there initially, Dan, but really the defensive secondary of the Knights is just not buying this fake. And the right-handed quarterback rolling left and sort of throwing against his momentum. A very tough pass. The accuracy not there. Plus, he had a couple defenders, you know, defending and covering very well. And the result is an incomplete pass.
It was actually tipped by Anton Mironoff, a Northgate Bronco, and out of the way
right winger?
Navarro. Yes,
Mironoff?
He's a right winger to our other buddy over there, Igor Pleschek. Third down. Rankin again rolling. He keeps it. Cuts towards the end zone, and Rankin is going to be tackled near the end zone. I think he's going to be down about the 2. It's going to bring up 4th and 2. This is a huge play in this game,
They've
Tony.
got to go for it here. Obviously, they went for it on 4th down on their own side of the field. They're certainly going to go for it here. And here's Rankin again with not very much room, making some people miss, and doing a nice job too, Dan, of covering up the football when the defenders start getting near him. And boy, he's just inside that 2-yard line. So about yard and a half, a yard and 3/4 here to pay dirt, and a big play of the game. And Northgate's going to take their second time out.
They mark it at the 1. It'll bring up 4th and 1. 8:11 to go, third quarter, 27-7. And let's say hi to some more great friends of the program here on Comcast. Alito's Barbershop, West 6th Street in Antioch. Pantel's Music Box. Hi to all the guys down there, Ralph, Keith, and Mark. Queen Bee's Quilt Shop. There's Queen Bee on the right, by the way. Steve pointed that out to us last week, Tony. Pleasant Hill Art, Jazz, and Wine Festival, Saturday and Sunday, October 8th and 9th in downtown Pleasant Hill. That should be a lot of fun. The Williams Company, real estate services for the 21st century. Call 757-3855. We want to thank all of our great sponsors, including Fitness 19, 1853 Ignacio Valley Road in Walnut Creek. And a great view. A beautiful night here tonight in Walnut Creek. You couldn't ask for a more beautiful night here in California. Tony, you were talking about some of the things coming up. Cal plays at home against Arizona on Saturday afternoon. And, of course, the 49ers are in Mexico City for the first ever NFL game. Played a regular season game played outside of America. There's Matt in the truck, looking bemused as always.
Looks like he's
and Johnny
incarcerated right
yes.
there.
We lost both of our baseball teams' playoff chances this week, Tony. Not that it was a big shock, but we'll be watching.
The A's had another fine year.
Yeah, and the Giants had a fine week. And so
yeah, they made it exciting late in the season.
It was. Here's a big play. 4th and goal. Rankin, hands off. Johnson. And Johnson fumbles the ball as he was hit at about the 1-inch line, and it's going to be another stop for Los Lomas right at the goal line. Unbelievable.
So there's Northgate turned away. Great defense by Los Lomas right at the point of attack. And they just needed about a yard and a half or so, and they don't get it. And we are going the other way. 1st and 10 here for Los Lomas. Let's take a look at this. Here's the handoff. There's just no push up front. And there's Johnny Volan spearheading that attack and then pulling the defender, pulling the running back behind the line of scrimmage there. And a great job by the defense, and the Knights get the stop.
Here's Curl from the scissor lift. Oh, and he's hammered for a safety. Oh, wow. Northgate, that's a positive development. Number 84, there he is. Anton Mironoff coming in, as you said, from left wing to make that tackle. It's 27-9.
He really did. As far as the offense is concerned, he came into the left wing, gets the sack. The Knights really fortunate they don't get to end up with a fumble and a touchdown right there.
Yeah, I think he came in from the right wing on the opposite side, but it looked like our side on the left wing.
The offense is left side.
Right.
So well, how about this? They get the 2 points, cut the lead to 27-9, and now a free kick situation, and they're going to have good field position on this next drive.
Let's take another look at this, and Curl in the back of the end zone. Oh, he just came on from the right side and just on a side blitz there. They have him lined up in the starting as a linebacker, so you'd have to call that a blitz. Just came straight off the edge and makes the sack, 27-9. So, this is what I said about Northgate. They might not have the numbers, they might not have the speed and strength of Los Lomas, but they'll play you all the way to the final gun. They're always that kind of team. And tonight, like you said, you never know.
Maybe the Knights thought that, hey, the Broncos are going to expect a run here. We're on the 1 yard line. They're going to expect us to run. They drop back to pass. The Broncos not buying it. They had the bum rush going on there, and they end up getting the sack. So they come up with a huge play here, and let's see what kind of field position they're going to get following this free kick.
So Davis, it looks like he's going to punt, and of course that punt will come from the 20.
Jack Davis will be kicking off. He'll be punting it from his own 20-yard line.
The front line of that Broncos moves up, but on a free kick, you cannot onside kick this one. Must kick it away.
Here's the punt. And it bounces at the 35-yard line to number 35, Navarra. And Navarra, a nice return of 12 yards out to the 47-yard line. So Northgate gets the ball back after the safety. They are down by 18 with 7:47 to go. But, compared to some of the scores, Tony, we saw in the paper today, huge, almost 50 points a game. Los Lomas has beat them over the last 3 games.
55-7.
They're hanging around right now. They're giving them a game. Don't forget the Clayton Oktoberfest. If you're watching on Saturday night, go down on Sunday, Main Street in downtown Clayton. As I mentioned, just up the hill, Sunday night at 7, Journey comes in for a 3-hour show at the Concord or Chronicle Pavilion.
Now, I listened to them back in '85, I think, so much more recent than UFO.
There you go. Swing pass, Inman, who's had a couple of big catches, and he's still on his feet. Gain of 7. Yamashita was there at the very end. The tackle was made by Volan. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 3 for Northgate.
Just a little swing pass to that far side of the field, and Inman, who's really been the favorite target here for Northgate all night long. He and Rankin have been able to hook up a few times, and he picks up a very nice gain here on 1st down.
Northgate lost their opener, we mentioned, to Piedmont 30-0. We're in a game with Concord 7-7 late in that game, but they lost 21-7 and then lost last week to Miramani. But once again, we're in that game 27-14 driving when they had a big turnover, and then Miramani wrapped that one up. So here again tonight, they're hanging around, down by 18, 3rd quarter, 7 minutes to play. 2nd down, Rankin. Once again, he always seems to be running for his life. He fumbles the ball. It's on the ground, and it's recovered by Navarra, and that was a dangerous play. Looked like he was trying to flip the ball to Navarra at the last second, and it would have been another big turnover. They ultimately lose 8. It'll be 3rd and 11.
There's that 3rd and long, but, you know, I've been saying all night long he's done a good job of covering up the ball when defenders get near. This time he doesn't, trying to make something happen, and really there's Bond, Cameron Bond, knocking the ball loose there, picking up the sack, forcing the fumble, but very fortunate Navarro to fall on the ball.
Wouldn't it be cool if he could have like 007 as his number? Wouldn't that be kind of cool? And Bond was held, dragged, and mugged by one of the Northgate linemen, still able to get in there and make the play. 3rd and 11. Inman in motion, near sideline. Volan looked like he was offside.
I agree.
Rankin throws, has a receiver. Inman makes the catch. He's inside the 40, down at the 35-yard line. It's going to be a 1st down and a gain of 18.
But now, Dan, we have a flag in the backfield, and this one came much later.
Tackle below the knees.
It's actually a block below the knee on Northgate, and that's going to wipe this one out. So another huge mistake for Northgate.
Take a look at it here.
Oh, right there. There's
there's
the block
knocking
right
down
there.
Johnny Volan,
who looked like he was offsides.
Yeah, you can't block below the waist. You can tackle below the waist, but not block, and that's what happened there. It looked really nice. I mean, Volan was on the ground. It's just unfortunate that it's illegal. So another big mistake here by Northgate, and they're moving backwards, and so much for having this good field position to start this drive.
Don't forget, next week, Deer Valley versus Pittsburgh should be an interesting ball game out in East County. Pittsburgh has another non-league game tonight that they're playing. I believe Deer Valley as well is non-league tonight. There's only, I believe, one game in the BVL tonight, league game, 1 or 2. De La Salle, of course, another big game. They don't start playing league opponents until the 6th week. It's 3rd and very long. Little screen pass to Johnson. Oh, and Johnson, he is tackled and hit by Volan at the 26-yard line.
Where Johnny Volan is making some nice plays. Starter, of course, last year, coming up to make the stop there. And now 4th down, another punting situation here for Northgate. Looking downfield, they want to go down there, just got to hit the outlet here. And here comes Johnny Volan to bang him down. And now
you don't get
Navarro,
much after Volan and Swisher.
No, you really don't.
If they're included in the tackle. From the 25, they had just a yard gain on that play. 4th down, so Northgate would have had a 1st down inside Los Lomas territory. Navarre gets the punt away. It's taken by Davis at the 48-yard line. He's in and out of one defender and then finally tackled after a couple of yard gain there. Number 19 was there. We haven't called his name tonight. Cameron Harrison, also Shane Killian there on special teams for Northgate. So Los Lomas will take over inside Northgate territory with 5:15 to go. And Northgate's only ran one play from scrimmage in the 3rd quarter, and it wasn't the highlight of their season so far.
No. Stopped on that play when they looked like they were going in for a touchdown, but then they did get the safety. But after the free kick, the Knights defense comes up big, pushes them backwards, and now they've got good field position to start this next drive.
Pitch to Palaniuk, and Palaniuk makes a nice cut and gains 9 yards on 1st down.
Flag on the play, however.
And that's
in the offensive backfield again.
Usually holding when it comes from that area. Well, you were saying, Tony, if it's in the backfield, it's holding. If it's on this side, it's defensive holding. And if it's thrown into the face of the coach, it means be quiet.
And shut up and get off the field.
Yes, or you're going to get another one.
So a big break that time here for Northgate as the Knights called for holding. And the burgundy-clad troops will back up here into their own territory.
And of course, if it's thrown into the eye of a lineman, you could have a lawsuit, as we had in the NFL a few years ago.
And you could get hurt.
That's right. Purchase your copy of this game. UPS shipping included, $25. Call 933-6264. Ask for Metal Matt. Or send us an email at gotw@comcast.net. 10-yard That's right. That's Game of the Week at Comcast.net. Could you figure that out before I told you?
Okay. I have to look at that twice.
Thanks.
Talk about, Dan, some of the teams that have been down for a while, Northgate, Concord, teams like that. Seems like some of those teams that have been down starting to pick it up a little bit here.
Starting to play a little bit better. Loss of 12 with the penalty makes it 1st and 22. Davis in motion. Curl to throw. Over the middle. It's intended for Swisher. And you notice that even when the ball hits Swisher's hands, it bounces about 20 feet farther than it does off anyone else's hands.
I didn't want to say hands of stone because I don't think that would be a compliment, but...
no, but, well, just big, burly hands.
Big, burly hands.
His brother was quite a basketball player as well, you might remember. We had him out here in a game a couple of years ago. We mentioned J.C. Lewis was a great player for us. We saw him a number of years here.
Very exciting runner.
Left-handed quarterback, and he's at Southern University as the starter. Dan Albana is a great player, one of the best that Coach Longero's ever had here, he said, at UC Davis. He had a big win over Stanford a couple of weeks ago.
You talk about where some of these guys are going. Jason Swisher, a third-year starter, Dan. The WAC conference and the Pac-10 schools showing a lot of interest in him, so we'll probably be seeing him very shortly playing at the next level.
Possibly UNLV or Fresno State. Timeout on the field. While we have that timeout, don't forget Roger Fernando Insurance, one of the great friends of the program in San Ramon. We'll see Roger coaching for Acalanes on the far sideline on October 28th when they visit Las Lomas. Amorosa Antique and Floral, 204 G Street in the historic Antioch Rivertown District. Diablo Auto Sales of Antioch. Pleasant Hill Art, Jazz, and Wine Festival, Saturday and Sunday, October 8th and 9th in downtown Pleasant Hill. That should be a lot of fun as always. Lots of stuff to do around here. As I mentioned, Tony, you know, our baseball seasons will end on Sunday, but the NHL season starts on Wednesday. The Sharks are in Nashville. They're on the road for the first week. We'll be home on October 12th, Columbus Day, to take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. How interesting is that little parallel?
Yeah, Sharks hockey. I'm looking forward to that like I am looking forward to MLS soccer.
MLS soccer, we have the best team in the league, by the way.
Lomas comes to the line with 2nd and 22 at their own 42-yard line.
5 minutes to go, third quarter. And 2nd and 22 for Curl and the Knights. On in motion, play action. Oh, that's holding. That was holding from up here, but it doesn't matter as Navarra gets a hold of Curl and drops him for a huge loss. And you know, this doesn't happen much, Tony, but Las Lomas is going to be faced with a 1st and about 30, excuse me, a 3rd and 30 on this play. And that doesn't happen a lot to the Knights.
Now, this did not go Northgate's way last week. Let's take a look at the holding right there. Cameron being held, but then here's Navarro coming out, and watch him just ragdoll the quarterback down to the ground. Boy, I'll tell you, that's one you're lucky you don't get hurt on a play like that, the way you land on that shoulder.
Curl has lost 29 yards on 3 sacks so far to the Northgate defense. 3rd and 32, or as we more like to call it, 3rd and Sun Valley for the Las Lomas Knights here. Curl, straight drop, throws, lofts it, has a receiver, Davis.
A penalty there. It's got to be.
And a late penalty flag, and that's going to be pass interference, and that could be an automatic 1st down for Las Lomas.
Yeah, we were talking about the problems that Northgate was having last week in these type of situations, getting the opponents into 3rd and long, and then something happens, and they end up giving up the 1st down anyway.
Especially in a 3rd and 32 is what it was after the spot.
There are the officials converging here. We'll talk it over here, but obviously this is going to go against Northgate.
Interference penalty on the Northgate Broncos. 1st down. Here's a replay of it.
Take a look, looking downfield, good pressure. And then the receiver had beaten the defender, and he just reached out and grabbed him. Easy call to make.
And in high school, as we were told last week, there's no such thing as an uncatchable ball.
No, absolutely
not. You can
not.
throw it to the snack shack, and it's still pass interference.
You know, the defender has to be smart to realize he's got no chance. Why do I want to reach out and grab it?
15-yard penalty.
It's a 15-yard penalty, brings the ball to the 47-yard line of Las Lomas, and it'll be 1st down as they reset the sticks here. And Las Lomas has another shot here. Northgate, you see, this is what kills you. It's one thing to get hammered. It's another thing to have chances and keep shooting yourself in the foot, kind of like Mount Diablo did last week. And now we have a penalty, and this will be on Las Lomas. So now it's become a penalty festival.
Yeah, this one just too much time here. Actually, you call illegal procedure.
You know what I mean? It's one thing to just lose and not be as good, but Northgate's made some nice plays. They've had some sacks. They've had some drives that have just, they've lost a couple of turnovers and lost some balls on, had a ball down on the goal line where they could have went in for a touchdown. That's a 5-point change right there, although they did get the safety.
Big mistakes. They've given up big plays. They've had turnovers. They've been bad on short yardage. Yet you look up, Dan, and they're still in the football game, 27-9.
1st and 15. Curl hands off to Pomerantz, who's in the game, and there's another penalty flag.
Thrown right at the line of scrimmage, Dan. I wonder what that is.
Do I need to say it? More flags than the United Nations.
We got a flag down on the flag.
Looks like that's going to go against the Knights. I'm sure they'll be backing up.
And Los Lomas usually is not faced with these 1st and 30s, 3rd and 32 situations, but we're seeing some tonight, and you can see there's Coach Longero probably not that happy with what's going on out here in the 3rd quarter.
Northgate played Miramani last week, and obviously Miramani a better program here than Northgate right now. But still, Miramani was in a lot of those situations with 3rd and long, and yet something would happen with Northgate. They would make the big penalty, and then Miramani would get out of it, and the score ended up looking to be a lot more of a difference than the game really was on the field.
The scoreboard lists this as 1st and 25 from the 31.
25 yards to go for the first down.
Curl play action again. Here comes the blitz. Throws a little pass, and there's no one there. The only guy there was a lineman.
Well, what happened, Johnny Volin was the intended receiver, but he ended up kind of getting knocked off his pattern here by Northgate. I believe that's Joseph Jordan, number 60, who was rushing the passer. Volin was looking to block and then just ended up blocking a little bit too long, and there was nobody out there in the pattern. So here we go to another long yardage situation here. See if Northgate can't get the stop and get good field position here as this 3rd quarter winds down.
4:07 to go here in the 3rd quarter. 27-9 after the only points of the 3rd quarter on a safety. Curl, a play action again, running for his life. You see number 19 in there as that ball is intended for Swisher, and it's incomplete. Number 19, Cameron Harrison, has been running wild in the backfield. It's been both him and Mironoff. There's Mironoff in there as well, who've been playing very well defensively for the Broncos. And once again, 3rd and very, very long for Los Lomas.
Now, if you're on the Northgate side, are you thinking, let's be aggressive, let's go get this? We're going to make a big play here? Or are you thinking, what could go wrong now?
Well, you might be thinking that. You would hope that at some point that they could make a play, because they could get decent field position if they could force them to punt from where they're at now at the 31-yard line. 2 wide receivers near side. 2 backs. Curl, hands off. This is Pomerantz, and Pomerantz has big yardage, and he's going to be close to a first down. He has it. He's down the sideline and finally tackled at the 20 by number 21, Jonathan Chang. What a run that time. They called their bluff, and they ran the ball. Looked like kind of a semi-draw play once he got outside, Tony.
That's what I saw.
It was off to the races for Alex Pomerantz.
And I got to chalk one up here to Doug Longero with the call. Here's the draw play, and you can see the defense running right by him, and once Pomerantz got past the line of scrimmage, there was nobody there. He races downfield to the far side, makes a couple of guys miss, gets a couple of blocks. Another huge play offensively here for the Knights. And Northgate, a 3rd and long again, Dan, and what could go wrong this time?
49-yard gain and a first down for Pomerantz from the 20-yard line, the Knights. 3:49 to go here.
They got a guy uncovered here in the slot here to the near side.
And they identify that. That's Palaniuk. And they hand off straight up the gut. That's Volin, and Volin is going to get 5 on first down. Chang was there, as well as number 35, Navarra. I think Northgate can play with some of the teams in this league, though, Tony. I think they'll win a few games. They won 3 last year. But the return to the heyday will only come when they eliminate some of the mistakes that they've made and some of the it just seems like the guessing game has went to Los Lomas tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Longero made that great call last time. Obviously, the Knights on that 3rd down and long were looking for a pass, and they got the draw play instead.
Two wide receivers near sideline, and now Swisher changes his position, and then Curl calls a timeout. Didn't like what he saw there, and it's timeout. Los Lomas here. 3 minutes and 1 second to go, 3rd quarter. They lead by 18.
But Dan, I tell you, we are dangerously close to having a close game here. Dangerously close.
Dangerously close. Amorosa Antique and Floral, Diablo Auto Sales, Jeffrey Hogue, Doctor of Dentistry, GamePod Combat Airsoft, Antioch Opticians, Images of 3 Hair Salon, Recovery Carpet Care, Keith White and Brett Anoni, Doctors of Dentistry, Roger Fernando, State Farm Insurance, the 19th Hole Casino and Lounge. Hi to Eddie Bodine and the whole crew over there. Randy's Carpet Care, hi to those guys. New Mecca Cafe in downtown Pittsburgh, Bridgehead Self Storage, and Rock Bottom Records. Thanks to all of our great sponsors here on the Comcast Game of the Week. We couldn't do it without you, and we're always actively looking for new sponsors, so give us a call at 933-6264 if you'd like to jump on the Game of the Week team, increase awareness of your business. Also send us an email at gameoftheweek@comcast.net. And there are some absolute lunatics on the sideline down here tonight. The Wild Bunch here. Great crowd here tonight. Good to see the youngsters out here taking in the action at Los Lomas High School. 2nd and 5 after the timeout. Curl hands off to On, and it's a fumble, and On breaks away from one Northgate tackler, but can't get away from the rest. As you can see, a number of guys there. Mironoff was there as well as Chang, and that was that little end-around play that, as you can see, Tony, that did not bounce for Northgate. They just are not getting the breaks here.
No, I'll tell you, because that ball, in the situation that it is, it's kind of bouncing free in the open right there. If it bounces to one side or the other, you got a chance for a white shirt to pick that up and take it the other way. But still, as it is, at least they got the Knights going backwards on that one.
Cameron Harrison was the first Bronco there to help cause the fumble. So a loss on the play of 8. It'll be 3rd and 18. The ball at the 29-yard line. Northgate, you got to give their defense credit here. They are causing Los Lomas a lot of problems here in the 3rd quarter. Curl has plenty of time, though, to throw. And then here comes the rush. He throws intended for Swisher near sideline. It's over his head and incomplete. Going to bring up a 4th down. And I would assume at this point Los Lomas will go for it. There's an injured Knight down on the play. It's Jack Davis with his helmet off, and Rankin is there. And now they're going to send out the trainers to take a look at Jack Davis. We're going to step aside for 1 minute. We'll be right back from Walnut Creek.
And we got an official timeout on the field.
Looking for quality equipment rental with a helpful, friendly staff? Hertz Equipment Rental of Pacheco has over 4,100 pieces of reliable equipment to choose from, ready for delivery. Or if you're looking to purchase equipment, check out our pre-owned equipment sales list for super bargains on well-maintained pre-owned equipment. With Hertz, you have the right tool to get the job done. That's Hertz Equipment Rental at their new location, 30 South Buchanan Circle in Pacheco. Call Hertz today, 925-680-0316.
Is your laptop or home computer driving you crazy? Paramount Technology of Concord has the answers. Located behind Tower Records in Concord, Paramount Technology has it all. Quick in-house laptop repair and servicing, mobile computer service calls, and great customer service for those wishing to have a computer made to your specifications. Your computer wizards with expert service and products for today's computer world. That's Paramount Technology of Concord at 1252 Diamond Boulevard in Concord, the computer wizards of Contra Costa.
Back at Los Lomas High School, Jack Davis being led to the bench. A lot of injuries here tonight. You can see Stinson is still on the bench. He was injured in the first half. Both Stinson and Laris are in street clothes now, and this is not a good thing. As they move on. Next week, Miramani is here at Los Lomas. In a number of weeks, 4 weeks, we'll be here for Acalanes. They still have to play a lot of the big teams in this league, and you're talking about 3 starters who are now sitting on the bench. Davis, now they might not be injured seriously, but enough to knock them out of this game. But 3 guys that started tonight for Los Lomas are on the bench right now.
You got Miramani. College Park is 2-1 right now. Acalanes, all those 3 teams are 2-1.
Dublin beat Campolindo by 28 points last week.
The DFL is pretty tough right now, and the Knights are going to be playing some of these teams in the next few weeks.
It's 3rd and 32 again from the 43. Curl running for his life, throws for Volan, incomplete. You really got to take your hat off to Northgate. How many teams could ever say, I don't care how good they are, that in one quarter they had a 3rd and 32 twice and a 1st and 25 against the Los Lomas Knights in the past 5 years?
And that's great. The problem is they've got to prevent first down.
Well, this is going to be 4th down. I think we're finally going to see a punt, and Northgate's going to get the ball back, just down by 18 here. If they could just get on the scoreboard, they could get a touchdown, they could get some momentum in this game, and maybe make a comeback. 1:58 to go, 3rd quarter. Los Lomas will kick, and here's another interesting thing. The punter is Davis. Davis is being attended to down on the sidelines. It looks like the punter is Orion, number 3, and it is.
Orion.
And he's going to kick.
Kick this away. End over end.
It takes a bounce at the 20 and then rolls down to the 17-yard line. And that's where Northgate will take over. They got to go 83 yards to score here. We're inside of 2 minutes of the third quarter, and it's 27-9 Los Lomas over Northgate. Pleasant Hill Art, Jazz, and Wine Festival, Saturday and Sunday, October 8th and 9th in downtown Pleasant Hill. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Northgate 9.
We mentioned Journey at the Chronicle Pavilion on Sunday night, playing a 3-hour show, Tony. And for those of you that might just be watching them, are all going, you know, I saw Journey a few years ago. They'd played like, you know, Open Arms, and they're playing songs from their first 3 records before Steve Perry became a member of the band, which is what a lot of people have wanted all these years.
Before they were so radio friendly, I think.
And we were mentioning that because the Clayton Oktoberfest is coming, and that'll be on Sunday. So you could go to the Oktoberfest and go see Journey. But you're right, when they got all the big hits, that was when Steve Perry was in the band. Before that, they were more of a jazz fusion kind of rock band. They're playing songs from every era of their career, including a new record. And here's a little tip for you. They have a new record coming out Tuesday, which you can get at Rock Bottom Records. But if you go to the show Sunday, they're going to hand it to you as you walk out the door. So you can go to the show and get a free new Journey CD.
Wow.
So if you don't have nothing to do Sunday after the Raiders play at home against Dallas, or if the 49er Cardinal game has is a big mess. Something you could possibly do around 7 o'clock on Sunday night.
I don't know why anybody would ever want to miss a Cardinals game.
Rankin brings the Broncos to the line of scrimmage.
There was a penalty on Los Lomas, 1st and 5. Rankin throws far sideline. Inman was the intended receiver, and the ball is incomplete over his head with 1:49 to go.
Yeah, that one really sailed on Rankin because Inman on the far side was wide open at the 30. They had at least a 12-yard gain that time, but Rankin could not hook up with his favorite target of the night.
A little bit of youth on the squad. Blaine Johnson and Inman are just sophomores, so Northgate will have a couple of guys coming back, but a lot of seniors there. They also play both ways. Kevin Welge is also a underclassman, a junior. Rankin in the shotgun on 2nd down.
Shotgun formation.
Has time for one of the few times tonight. Moves up in the pocket, throws down the field for number 84, Mironoff, and there's contact but no flag.
Yeah, it certainly was some contact. It looked like a burgundy shirt got in the way that time of the big tight end. And very fortunate for the Knights that no flag was thrown.
We mentioned Linda Sawyer, the AD at Los Lomas. Pat Lickus is the principal here. Over at Northgate, the principal is Martha Riley, the AD Bob Johnson. Thanks to all the folks here at both high schools help us put this game on tonight, and this beautiful new facility, which is probably going to be a place that if they don't play games at Cal or at the Coliseum, this would be a place you could probably see a North Coast Section Championship game at, Tony. Rankin swings a little screen pass out to Navarra, and Navarra has good yardage, and I think he has a first down. He does, out to the 32-yard line. 1:31 to go. So they haven't wasted a lot of time here with the incompletions.
This third quarter has taken a long time here. Still 1:31 to go.
I think it took an hour to play the first half. It's taken 50 minutes to play the third quarter, Tony.
A lot of stoppages, a lot of change of possession. Ball plays out of bounds, incomplete passes, and penalties have kept this one going along, but that's to the liking of Northgate here. And plus, when you don't have very many players down, they could use some of these stoppages to get a little breather.
Kind of look like Boston College versus USC out there tonight with the colors, Tony. From the shotgun, Rankin, and big pressure again from Los Lomas, and he's hammered. Luke cleaned it up. Number 52. Here's a name for you. Alvin Shayankovich and number 57, Jesse Woods, were there. But Rankin has been running for his life for a lot of tonight, Tony. He's had to come up out of the pocket. When he's had some time, he's been able to complete some passes.
Yeah, but swing pass early to Navarro for the first down was done very nicely. Everything in sync there. For that last drop back, Dan, as soon as he drops back, there's pressure, and he's kind of avoiding people instead of looking downfield for his receivers.
Loss of 8, 2nd and 18. Pitch to Navarra, and Navarra has a lane outside if he can make a cut. And he does, and he gets back to the 37-yard line. Gain of about 10. It's going to bring up 3rd and 8.
That was a nice looking play that time. Navarro able to get to the near side and then cut it back upfield. And he doesn't have to cut to go by somebody. He can cut and go through somebody.
There's a gain of 10 on the play. He'll bring up third
I wanted to
down.
mention that Matt Rullifson was in on that tackle, the younger brother of Will. And did you know that Alex Pomerantz has had 3 brothers precede him here at Los Lomas High School?
Wow, what a lineage here.
Lineage. And what was your word in the first half? Impeding. It's very good. You've been reading your thesaurus.
Hold on, let me peel through my dictionary here.
Just 2 seconds to go here. And Northgate does not get a playoff, and that'll do it for the third quarter. So Northgate gets the safety, and that's it. They trail 27-9 after 3, and we'll be back with the fourth quarter from Walnut Creek after this.
Battle of the Creek.
Since 1980, Fresky Air Systems Incorporated has been keeping Contra Costa cool and comfortable. With an expert crew of technicians and staff, let Fresky be your indoor comfort professionals. Our Lennox Signature home comfort systems are designed to deliver efficient and economical air and heat for your individual needs. Air conditioning to heating, duct cleaning to emergency service calls, Fresky has you covered. From the homeowner to the commercial world, Fresky Air Systems Incorporated. Reliable and trusted service since 1980.
Hi, I'm Rocco Bialy, and this is my family.
I'm Dante. I'm Dominic. And I'm Nina.
For the past 5 years, Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria has been the proud sponsor of the Comcast High School Game of the Week. As a neighborhood restaurant, being part of our community has been very important to my family and staff. I'd like to personally invite you to become part of our family. Great pizza, great pasta, and great people. Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria, a part of your community.
Quality fine art, collectibles, and framing. Peacock Expressions Gallery of Antioch has it all. A wide variety of custom framing to fit everyone's needs. A certified showcase gallery with unique art from Thomas Kincaid, Lennox Classics, Bronze, Thomas Blackshear, Armani, Bradford Exchange, and more. From original art to posters, worldwide, national, and quality local art, where quality does not have to break the bank. Find that special gift for that special someone.
Back at Los Lomas High School, 27-9 Knights. You can see they had the big second quarter, but Northgate's been hanging around, and if they could convert here on third down, Tony, maybe go in and score, they could perhaps have a chance here in the fourth quarter, but they've just not been able to get over the hump, irregardless of how well they've actually played here against the powerful Knights. Rankin from the shotgun, looks like an option play, and the ball's on the ground again, and Navarro picks it up, but it's going to be a loss of 2. And you know, interestingly, I know you got to try to throw the kitchen sink at teams like Los Lomas, but remember last week, Mountain Diablo would score on the simplest plays, the easy plays, right, and would mess up a lot of these complicated ones. You could see, now that was a combination of a bad pitch and getting hit right when you're going to get rid of the ball, and lucky for Northgate, Navarro fell on that.
Yeah, very fortunate, because if that ball takes one more bounce, you might see a burgundy shirt picking it up and going the other way. So actually, Northgate very fortunate to avoid disaster there, but they'll have to give up the football here on fourth down and long.
The punting team is on Stinson, that 66-yard run back in the first quarter. Pollinuk had a 2-yard run. Harkins a 68-yard pass from Curl. Inman a 13-yard pass from Rankin put Northgate on the board. Pomerantz had the 2-yard run and then the safety, and that's where we're at here, 27-9.
Punting for Northgate, number 35, Navarro.
And here's Navarro's punt from the 35. And it rolls all the way to the Los Lomas 22, a 33-yard punt, no return, and that's where Los Lomas will take over here with 11:21 to go in the ball game. Let's say hi to our great friends of the program. Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria, voted best pizza in the East Bay by the readers of the Contra Costa Times at Ignacio Valley Road at Oak Grove. Movie Magic in Concord of Pittsburgh, that's at Brennan Theaters. You can see Into the Blue with Jessica Alba and Paul Taylor. You remember him from Varsity Blues. Remember him? You don't remember him? Okay, well, it was a good movie. Hertz Equipment Rental in the Tony household. I know Disney has a new Cinderella out for you. You can watch, Tony. Hertz Equipment Rental in Pacheco. Thanks for the scissor lift tonight, guys. Here's a handoff on first down to Pollinuk, and Pollinuk has a first down, gain of 13 out to the 35-yard line.
You know, most of the tacklers tonight, Dan, have not looked good, other than Johnny Bowen and a few other. There's been some good plays, but for the most part, you see Pollinuk there. Initial contact, the defender's not able to take down the ball carrier at all tonight, whether he's a running back or a quarterback. After initial contact, ball carrier is doing a very good job picking up extra yards.
11 minutes to go in the game.
First down. Los Lomas at this point probably just wants to grind some time off the clock, ahead by 18. on in motion. Hand off to Volan, and Volan a big hole, and Volan, he looks like Mike Allstott, just rumbling, bumbling, stumbling ahead. Another 13-yard gain out to the 49-yard line of the Knights, and another first down.
Yeah, right up the middle that time, a handoff to Volan in the middle of the field's pretty wide open. And Northgate's going to have to tighten that up because obviously they've got to be thinking that just exactly what you said, the Knights are going to try to run some time off this clock, and they're probably going to do some handing off here.
First down. They actually spot this now. I'll call it the 49-yard line.
Palaniuk.
That's Palaniuk for about 3.
Across the 50 into Northgate territory.
Checking Jack Davis, looks like he's in a tremendous amount of pain down on the sidelines.
To the Northgate.
And as we mentioned, you just look at this. You can see Clancy is sitting on the bench with McGall. I don't think they're hurt, but Clancy was actually hurt earlier as well. But Palaniuk comes in the game, 10 carries, 60 yards. So the Los Lomas rushing game has not fallen off. Pomerantz has 75 yards rushing. It's not really fallen off with the loss of Stinson, although I don't think you want to go into, as we mentioned, a big game without being at full strength here in this league.
Well, you talked about they had depth, and that depth is on display here this evening.
From the Northgate 48, first down, Palaniuk, and he has a first down out to the 40-yard line. And there's a penalty flag on the play.
Northgate's going to hope this is going against the burgundy and gold, and it looks like it is by their body language.
It looks like a hold against Los Lomas. So, Tony, you know one thing, though, last week when I get home, we usually go out, as everyone knows who watches this, because I get people that you don't think watch us come up to me and go, hey, how was the pie? Like they know we had pie, or someone knows my mom's name, or someone goes, hey, how was the Sharks game, or how was Green Day? It's weird how people know. So I got home after pie, and I was watching High School Sports Focus, and the first 3 scores they showed were DFAL scores, and every one of them I went, what? There was College Park, who's in proverbial upset mode anymore. And the ending of that game, I don't know if you knew about it, but they attempted 2 field goals. The second attempt was blocked, but it went behind the line of scrimmage. As Ocalanis celebrated the victory, the College Park lineman ran in for the touchdown. And they won on the last play of the game, 35-31, even though
thinking it's a dead ball, but it's not.
Supposedly an inadvertent whistle was blown, but that the protest was denied, and they won the game. And also, I think a big shocker, Dublin 34-6 over Campolindo last week. That one had me shaking my head. Here's a long pass. That's Harkins again. That's his second big catch of the night out at the 30-yard line. That's another big gain. That's a 31-yard gain after the penalty.
Yeah, this is just a go pattern down the field. Harkin on the far side of the field, just racing down. And he's covered actually pretty well. It looks like Ethan Johnson is just a couple of steps behind, but boy, that pass is dropped in there just perfectly. Another big play for the Knights offense.
And of course, the other game was the Los Lomas Alhambra game. Not a surprise, but just happy to see all of the great offense in that game as always. Harkins has 2 receptions for 100 yards tonight and a big touchdown. First down from the 30. We're in the 4th quarter, 9 minutes to play, 27-9 Los Lomas, and another penalty.
And it looks like this time it's going to be the Broncos jumping offside.
And we got it. Offside.
Looks like that right defensive tackle.
On Northgate.
So it'll be a 1st and 5, Tony. So the DFAL is as crazy as ever. I always likened it to the WAC.
Don't forget to stick around.
Because it's like you never know what's going to happen. And the BVAL is more like the Pac-10. You know, you have the powers, traditional kind of powers, and then every once in a while someone sneaks in, like Oregon State will be good one year, and then they won't be, and then Arizona State will be good one year. And then the EBAL is more like the Big Ten, where everyone's just beating the heck out of each other, like tonight, Monte Vista and San Ramon, California, Foothill. That's a great league. 1st and 5. Palaniuk straight ahead. You know, Palaniuk, for a guy who's not really big, he'll hit you and get more yardage off of that first point of contact.
I tell you, they've done a great job. The Stinson was doing a good job of that earlier, and Palaniuk's continued to do that. That initial contact is not really slowing him down and not knocking him off balance. Able to keep his shoulders square, sort of slide off those tackles down and pick up extra yards. And very importantly here for the Knights, keep that clock rolling.
Clock rolling, 8:32 to go. Gain of 9 and a first down for Los Lomas. The ball at the 15-yard line. And it's got to be nice for a coaching staff to look back there and see all these great talents that were not on the starting lineup sheet. Here's that end around to on, and on with the ball, makes a cut, but a nice tackle that time. Good defensive play by Kevin Chatfield as he drags down on. He gained about 6, and we'll call it 2nd and 4.
Take a look at the replay here, on. And then Chatfield's going to come into your picture right now, and then nice collar tackle there to stop that play.
I guess the hope for any coach is that Ori is always on.
No, Dan. No, Dan.
Come on, Tony. From the 9, curl, Palaniuk.
Palaniuk following his blockers.
That time there is a big pack of Broncos right there. You see number 36 getting up off the pile. He was there. Shane Killian. That's a good name, football name. Shane Killian.
Sounds rough.
Yeah.
Sounds mean. And that time there's no defender to slide off of that time. There was 4 guys there. You slide off of one, you get hit by another. And the Broncos do a good job that time. And obviously they cannot afford to give a touchdown here. They need to get the turnover and get this football back.
Handoff Palaniuk, and he's taken off his feet. I think Killian was in on that tackle as well. And this is going to bring up a 4th and short for Los Lomas with 7 minutes to go. You know, the Knights are number 10 in the Contra Costa Times poll, and honorable mention in the Chronicle poll, and they've really been around there a lot in the last 5-6 years since we started doing their games, and they got the high profile with all their championship appearances. Purchase your copy of this game. I'm sure there's been a lot of Los Lomas games purchased over the years. UPS shipping included, $25. Call 933-6264. Send us an email at GOTW. That's Game of the Week at Comcast.net. Timeout on the field, 6:36 to go, 4th and about, we're going to call it 2 from the 8-yard line, and this could just about put the final nail in Northgate's coffin, but not the same game, not a 55-7 blowout.
Not at all.
They've been very competitive tonight. You know, I think the one thing Northgate lacks is they just don't have that star player they can go to. They're a nice, solid little team. They've got some good players, but they don't. If they had one guy, like a big running back that could rush for 150, 200 yards, I really think that they would have that chance to compete in this league. Curl tonight, 141 yards passing. Stinson finished with 100. Palaniuk has 79 and Pomerantz 75. So not knowing into the future here, but with plenty of time left, you could have 3 100-yard rushers here with a couple of long runs. Davis caught 2 passes before his injury for 21 yards. Harkins, though, the big story, 100 yards as a nice dance going on here at Los Lomas High School. Swisher has a couple of catches for 28 yards as well. So here we go, 4th down.
At least that timeout gives Northgate a little bit of blow before this big play.
And that is just a quick snap, curl straight up the middle, touchdown. Talk about deception. They switched formations, and I think they caught Northgate moving with the formation, especially because Swisher and Volan were the 2 Knights that were in motion, kind of moving over to the side. Once they sat, they went with the quick snap right up the middle. Touchdown, 8-yard run, and it's 33-9, Los Lomas.
Well, I'll tell you, Coach Longero has made a couple of really great calls. That one on the 3rd and long when they used the draw play to get the first down, and right here when they use the quarterback keeper, they spread the defense out. He sees something in it, he makes the right call, and sometimes you just got to credit the coach with making the right call.
It's the backup kicker, Orion. And that's a block right there, Tony.
That's almost a kick block. They blocked it with his ankle that time.
That's what happens, though, as you mentioned, with the place kicking game. And, of course, with Davis injured on the sideline, they have to bring in the backup kicker. The point after touchdown is no good. 33-9. Here's a replay of the touchdown. You see, here's Swisher. You know what? That should have been a motion penalty almost. I don't know if we can get the truck to replay it. I want to show you Swisher. It did not look like Swisher was set.
Not at all.
Okay, watch. And another injury.
And another injury, yeah.
God,
like
Los
at least
Lomas.
the 5th Los Lomas Knight player to go down tonight.
Well, you know what's interesting about, look at Swisher right here. Look, he's not down.
No, he wasn't.
That should have been a procedure penalty. That shouldn't have been a touchdown. But I guess that goes back to the touchdown that was on the ground, too. So
yeah, I guess so.
Coach Tellian was concerned about injuries tonight. He hasn't hardly lost anyone. It's Los Lomas that's had all the injuries tonight. It's kind of amazing out here. And that, I don't know if we can get a number of who that is on the ground down there. But not a good sign for the Los Lomas Knights. Hopefully these are just 1 week or 2 week type of things, and they'll have everyone back. You know he wants everyone back for Miramani coming in here next week. Let me get that number for you.
Is that Rolofson?
Oh wow! If that is Will Rullifson. Now, if you wanted to list 4 guys you don't want to lose in this game,
They've
it
all
would
been
probably be
injured.
Curl, Stinson, Davis, and Rullifson. Well, they've lost 3 of the 4.
Lost 3 of those 4 big losses.
If I was Los Lomas, I'd stash Curl on the sidelines and put the backup quarterback in with a 24-point lead. Here's Rullifson coming off to the sidelines. The big lineman plays both ways.
Yeah, not putting a whole lot of pressure on either one of those legs.
Okay, look at Swisher here. He's yet to go
Here's
down.
Number 7. And he won't actually get into his 3-point stance before the ball is snapped here. Yeah, ball is snapped, and he is not set. That's a good call, Dan.
So that should have probably been a 5-yard penalty and would not have been a touchdown.
Now the officials will probably say, that was incidental. It had nothing to do with the play. It didn't affect the play one way or another. Why make the call?
I saw a play like that once in Antioch. I'll never forget it. Would have won a game for Antioch. They called a guy 2 yards downfield on a 33-yard pass play. And they took the touchdown away, and Antioch eventually lost the game. Lights out in Walnut Creek, London, Chicago, any place you've ever heard the live UFO stuff. You can see that after the game tonight, CC Rock with UFO. There's a CC Rock on after all of our games. I know Matt did some filming of the Hurricane concert, which will be coming up in coming months on CC Rock. That was a lot of fun last week. Josh Allen to kick, and he puts the foot to this one nicely. Taken by Johnson at the 5-yard line. And Johnson looking for a block, but that time, that is one thing you don't want to do is run parallel on a kickoff and allow the team to run at you and then make the tackle. You want to go straight up the field and at least get that out to the 15 or 20. That time, not much of a return, and Northgate will start deep in their own territory. Comcast Game of the Week brought to you by our wonderful friends, Rocco's Ristorani and Pizzeria in Walnut Creek, Velocity Sports Performance in Concord, GamePod Combat Airsoft, Diablo Auto Sales of Antioch, Amorosa Antique and Floral. Great sponsors all, including Mazet Pontiac in Pittsburgh and ParamountTechnology.com in Concord. First down and a pitch. This is Navarra, and Navarra has a blocker, and he makes a nice cut. And Clancy meets him at the 16. He falls ahead for another yard. We're going to call it a gain of 7. It'll be 2nd and 3, 6:14 to go, Tony. And there's Jeremy down the sidelines. He's very tough.
That time they had the big Navarra, and you talk about a guy you don't want going east and west if you're the Broncos. This is the guy. Not that he doesn't have pretty good speed, Dan, but he's a big, powerful guy. You really want him going north and south. And that time the Knights able to string out that play and stop it for a loss.
Second down, Rankin has time for one of the rare times tonight and makes a nice throw, far sideline. That pass is caught, and a penalty late as the pass was caught by
a late hit,
Anton Mironoff. A 23-yard gain and then a penalty, and this could put Northgate into Los Lomas territory with the personal foul.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Mironoff looks like a pretty good target out there. Pretty big guy. He's been open a couple times, but as you said, Dan, he's got time, and look at the pocket he has to step up and throw into. That time, that certainly makes things a whole lot easier for a quarterback, and he's been able to hit the big tight end here a couple of times tonight.
Yeah, that was a late hit coming in by one of the Knights there. I think it was number 56. Not a vicious hit, Robert Forrest, but nonetheless, you don't want to see anyone else get hurt out here. They need another bench almost for all the injured Los Lomas Knights out here tonight, and some current concern about those guys as Los Lomas heads into the difficult part of their schedule after tonight's game. The ball at the 45-yard line, first down, Rankin in the pocket, moving up, throwing, has a receiver, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Yamashita, and how many times have we heard that over the past couple of years? Not only tonight, but his brother, who was a great defensive player as well. He brings it back to the 43-yard line, and that would probably do it for Northgate's chances tonight. 5:16 to go, and they trail by 24, Tony.
Well, Coach Yamashita was telling me earlier how well his secondary has been playing. He says one of the strengths of the team, and this time Yamashita is just playing center field, and he just obviously was invisible that time to the quarterback. He steps right in front of the intended receiver and makes the pick. A big play here for the defense, and it's just all about salting the rest of this time away. 5:16, and the Knights just trying to erase the rest of this time and wrap up this victory.
They mark it at the 41. I don't think I've called a mark tonight, have I, Tony? It's always a couple yards either in front or behind to where I thought they actually made the tackle. But the ball at the 41, first down.
Handoff to Palaniuk.
At Palaniuk, a 2-yard gain. Here's Kevin Palaniuk getting a lot of playing time tonight with Stinson injured and doing a great job. 5 minutes to go in this one. Don't forget, next week we'll be at Pittsburgh High School, the Pirates, who finally lost a game this year to a team that's not named De La Salle. And that was on opening week against San Leandro.
Yeah, they've been so good these last few years, but always running into the big green machine at the end of the year.
Hand off to Palaniuk. Big hole up the
Here's
middle.
Palaniuk, and Palaniuk still on his feet. He's at the 40. He's at the 30 and knocked out of bounds by Mironoff at the 26-yard line, and then a late hit, and this is going to give him great field position, probably inside the 20-yard line.
Well, Palaniuk, another good run.
And then there was some shenanigans behind the play as well. Might have been involving Swisher.
There's Palaniuk right up the gut, then cuts it to the outside. Nobody touches him before he gets to the line of scrimmage, gets that full head of steam, and then finally he's knocked out of bounds, but the hit's going to come out after he was already out of bounds, and that's why the flag was thrown, and it'll go against the Broncos.
These might be offsetting penalties because there's a flag at the 26-yard line out of bounds. We saw the hit out of bounds by one of the Northgate players, and then another flag was thrown, and I saw Swisher being kind of held back by Longero, maybe something behind the play. Never know, they could both be on Northgate for that matter, or they could be one on Los Lomas, one on Northgate. We'll just have to wait to see what the call is here.
You know, the officials converse here, and it looks like they've got it all settled.
And they're talking to Longero, so there's a very good possibility that I think they're picking up the second flag, which means now they're throwing it back down.
Personal foul against the Broncos is one call.
Assessed against Northgate at the 25-yard line.
I think he was showing you that he was picking up one of the flags, but the other one did count, and that's going against the Broncos. So one penalty against Northgate, and they'll march it off against the Broncos.
That penalty will be assessed from the point of infraction.
So the ball from the 26, a 15-yard penalty down to the, actually they're going to go half the distance to the goal, 13-yard personal foul penalty, first down from the 13. And so Los Lomas in business once again with 4:29 to go.
13-yard line. Where it'll be Los Lomas, first down.
By the way, the other guy that Los Lomas wouldn't want to be injured, I'm just saying, is Swisher. I left him off of that big 5 list there. And he's still in the ball game. Just in on that last play, and of course Curl. New running back in the game for Los Lomas. That's Vince DiMalanta. It can never be, Sam Jones.
Los Lomas first down and 10 at the Northgate 13.
DiMalanta is a sophomore, 5'6", in the ball game. On in motion, fake, handoff, DiMalanta, misdirection up the middle. And he's down to the 5-yard line. That'll be an 8-yard gain and second down and 2. And there he is. And you can see he is small in stature, but a big runner, sophomore, in that big old line of Los Lomas. They have a big line for a high school team.
They faked the end around that time and then went right up the middle. Pretty well executed play. Picks up some nice yards there for the Knights.
Looks like the same exact formation. And they run the same exact play. And this time, DiMalanta is tackled at the 3. It's going to be a first down at the 3-yard line for Los Lomas with 3:48 to go.
And that's good.
So really, even though you go back to a handful of plays that went wrong here for the Broncos, really Los Lomas has looked to be just quite a bit better than the Broncos here. And they're going to win this Battle of the Creek. But still, over the years, Northgate's starting to get a little bit better, and hopefully next year, the next couple of years, Dan, they'll have a very competitive program.
DiMalanta into the line, and he's hit by number 19, Cameron Harrison, and stopped short of the goal line. It's going to bring up second down here as the clock runs. Close to 3 minutes to go. So Northgate gave a valiant effort. The problem is they could just never get over the hump and get that touchdown that would have brought them closer. They had some chances and just could never do it. And then Los Lomas, as Coach Talion was kind of worried about, kind of wore them down, and even though a lot of the injuries are on this sideline tonight, and at this point now Los Lomas looks like they're going to go in for another score.
But still, a lot of the problems they've had earlier in the season, third down conversions, not stopping the third down conversion, too many mistakes at the wrong times, and it's just really hurt them tonight.
And that's Cameron Bond.
Cameron Bond is ahead for a touchdown, a 3-yard run for Bond. Cameron Bond. I like that, Tony. I stole it from you.
Tackled by Dr. No, but he's in for the touchdown anyway.
And it's 39-9, Los Lomas here in the Battle of the Creek. I think the mayor's going to hand out the trophy at the end of the game, and it's going to go to the Los Lomas Knights for the 4th year in a row here on the new field at Los Lomas High School.
And again, you know, one thing, we've been talking so much about the Broncos. What about Los Lomas over these several years, Dan? Even though they haven't actually, you know, like you said, won that title, they've still been one of the better teams in the area, and they're off to another fine season.
Well, they'll be 3-0 after this game, and they'll have, depending on what Concord does, they could have sole possession of first place. The kick this time is attempted by Allen, and it's good. They might have found the kicker. Josh Allen, the 3rd kicker of the night.
Wow.
Kicker by committee.
Good snap, good hold, and an accurate kick. That doesn't happen very often. Take another look here. Over that right guard spot, there's plenty of room into the end zone for the touchdown. And after a while, the Northgate Broncos just kind of wearing down, Dan, and really their defense has gotten pushed all over the field by this Los Lomas offense tonight. And another big offensive night here for Los Lomas as they roll towards their 3rd straight victory.
40-9 Knights here, 2:41 to go, 4th quarter. We've gotten all my notes in. You know, that's always a challenge to get all the research in, but we've talked about everything
tonight. You got
tonight.
the Encyclopedia Britannica on the wall over here. That is a lot of stuff.
We talked about everything, which is nice to get it all out there and talk about a lot of these kids. Give the kids some credit, the coaches. Don't forget the coaching staffs of both teams. They put a lot of time into this, especially at Northgate where they coach both teams. They coach the JVs and the varsity.
All right, let's talk about a lot of effort and time.
Yeah, they want continuity, yeah. So that's got to take a lot out of you.
Yeah, I'll say.
Rene Ruiz and Zach Torrey are kind of the offensive and defensive gurus of the JV team. Los Lomas won the JV game as well, 27-0 prior to this game.
And you think about how tired that coaching staff must be at the end of the week. I mean, double duty all week.
Then you got to turn around and get ready. You know,
get ready again.
Ready
all that game
one.
planning, all those practices. Quite a dedicated group.
Josh's kick is deep.
Allen kicks. Navarra takes it at the 2-yard line. Navarra this time makes a cut, but he's barely going to get back out to the 17-yard line. And a late penalty and a bunch of flags and a bunch of craziness at the end of the play there. Gossage was around to make the tackle. So things are getting a little chippy, some frustration being shown here by Northgate, as a lot of the personal foul penalties are against the Broncos. And there's another one, as they'll now be set back half the distance to the goal. It's a late hit, I believe, again there.
And we've seen a few of those here lately, and that could only be, Dan, as you said, just, you know, frustration here on the part of the Broncos. It's been that kind of night for them. And as close as they've been for much of this game, Dan, and as close as they were to making this a competitive ball game, you look at the score right now, and they're just flat getting blown out.
Rankin is resetting. First down for Rankin. Rankin has time, throws over the middle. It's incomplete, intended for Pleschuk. Now here's a look at the penalty we had on the kickoff. Look after the play here. See it over there? Over in the far corner? Yeah.
Right in front of the official, throwing down an opponent. And
it looks like my dad when I used to come in late past curfew, being thrown into my room.
It looks like a WCW or a WWE or one of those kind of takedowns.
Second down for Northgate here. 2:23 to go in the ball game. And he keeps it, and he's up the middle. He's got good yardage. And Rankin out across the 20 has a first down at the 22-yard line. A gain of 14, and you got to give Rankin credit. He's, you know, I remember a game, Tony, back right when the Sabercats in arena football started to get good. And they were playing a team that doesn't even exist anymore, and they were horrible. And every play, the quarterback would drop back and run for his life. It looked like he was playing against, it was like the pros against like the junior league. And kind of like tonight, Rankin, he'll get back there. He can never get set. He can never really survey, because the minute he gets back there, it looks like a jailbreak, as you said earlier.
No, I think there's only been about 3 times, Dan, when he's dropped back and actually had time to go through his progression. You know, the first option not there, look at the second option, look at the third. For the most part, it's one option and take off and run.
when he has had time, he's made some nice throws. Rankin fakes. Now he's being chased again. He's going to have nightmares of burgundy and yellow here tonight. But another positive run and another first down on the far sideline. By the way, you saw in our picture Gary Skrell, the mayor of Walnut Creek. He's going to hand out the big trophy at the end of the game, the Battle of the Creek. We have a lot of rivalry games this year, especially towards the end of the schedule. And this is another one of those, the Battle of
Seems like we're getting a lot of them earlier in the schedule.
Well,
it's kind of unusual.
Yep, they don't play him at the end anymore. Here's Rankin. And Rankin, not only he knows how to dive ahead for the sticks. Oh, and that was a brutal hit by one of the Knights there at the very end of that. There's number 27 who made the hit, Matt Rullifson, the brother of Will. So you look down on that bench. We need to get a shot of the Los Lomas bench here if you ever get a chance. You've got Laris, McGall, and Stinson all sitting down there injured. Allen, I don't think is hurt, but he's there. And Rullifson, maybe we can get a shot of that with then Davis on the trainer's table. We can get a shot after this play of all the injured Knights here tonight. Rankin to throw. Gets away again, fumbles. The ball's on the ground, picks it up, and then is tackled for a loss. That was a nice play that time by
number 36.
That was number 90, Clayton Christensen.
Well, here he is. This time actually does have a little bit of room to step up, and then after finding nobody downfield, forced out of the pocket, nearly loses the football. Fortunate to get it back and then dragged down. But that time he did have some time to throw, and everybody was covered.
DiMolanta actually was the initial tackler there. Then Christensen came in and cleaned it up. 1 minute to go in the ball game. Tony is going to head down to the field and get our players of the game for both from the Los Lomas Knights as we conclude tonight's ball game here from Walnut Creek. 40-9, Los Lomas over Northgate here. This is Johnson, and Johnson gains about 3 on second down, and Northgate calls its final timeout.
Tackled by number 16.
And they're trying to wave the clock operator off, and he does stop the clock with 38 seconds to go. And so as we wrap up another one, we'll try to finish out some of the business here. There's a Navarra who they don't want to lose him. He's one of their studs on offense for the Northgate Broncos. And they haven't had a lot of injuries tonight, and that was something that they were scared of with their small roster of just 24. So let's remind you once again that next week we'll be in Pittsburgh for Deer Valley and Pittsburgh, Saturday and Sunday at 7 p.m. In 2 weeks we'll be in Danville for Freedom and Monte Vista. That ought to be a great game. And then over the course of the final weeks of the season, we'll see games like De La Salle at Pittsburgh, Acalanes at Los Lomas.
Battle of the Creek.
There you see it. Clayton Valley at Antioch, Liberty at Freedom, and Pittsburgh at Antioch. And then, of course, we'll have playoff games all the way, and we anticipate and certainly hope to be at the Oakland Coliseum. It always depends on matchups and who's playing. But we anticipate being there at the end of the season to see all those great games. And then in early January, right on as a matter of fact, on December 31st, there's Tony heading down to the sidelines. On December 31st and January 1st will be our first basketball game of the year. We'll tape the West Coast Jamboree, Dave Jackson's big girls tournament that comes in to the area over the holidays. And so Navarra has been helped off the field, and Northgate now has 38 seconds to try to do something here. They trail by 31, but a very valiant effort tonight by Northgate. I think these guys are certainly on the right track under Coach Ted Talion, who's been there for 16 years. And they did a lot of right things today. Unfortunately, they did a few more wrong things, and that's really kind of hurt them over the course of the ballgame. Rankin from the shotgun, 3rd and 2, and a penalty, and there's probably a procedure penalty there. Here's the call.
And that's illegal procedure.
And it is a procedure penalty on the Broncos. So Los Lomas is certainly going to win the yardage battle here tonight. But there were some definite highlights tonight when you look back at the defensive stands that the Northgate had in the third quarter, the safety, and then of course those the number of times Los Lomas was in third and long situations. Rankin, 3rd and 7.
Back to throw.
Has time, throws down the far sideline. It's intended for number 2, Blaine Johnson, out of the backfield, and it's incomplete. And it's going to bring up a 4th down here with 28 seconds to go. So one more chance for Northgate, and then if they don't get it here, probably just a knee for the Los Lomas Knights, and that'll wrap this one up for you.
4th down.
I want to thank all the great sponsors and friends of the program that help us every week here on the Comcast Game of the Week. If it wasn't for you, we would not be able to bring you these great games throughout the entire school year. I want to thank Dave Jackson again tonight for stats, and of course Matt and our great crew in the truck as we get ready for next week out at Pittsburgh High School. One of the great new facilities is just like this one. Out there at Pittsburgh High School, of course, where my mother went to school, as I've mentioned a number of times on this program. 4th down, last chance for Northgate. Rankin to throw. Has plenty of time. Throws down the middle, and there's a collision. And that looks like Yamashita, but I think that's going to be pass interference on Los Lomas, as Yamashita has. That would have been his 3rd interception of the ball game. And I'll tell you, those Yamashitas can play in the defensive backfield. His brother, of course, was James, who's at DVC. He's a great player. Now we have Kevin, who's a junior, 5'10", 165. And we're going to be seeing him for the next 2 years. And here's the call, and it is pass interference on Los Lomas, so it'll be 1st down for Northgate with 18 seconds to go in the ballgame. So Los Lomas will go to 3-1 on the year, 3-0 in the DFAL. And Northgate will fall to 0-4, and they'll be 0-3 in the DFAL. But Northgate has played Concord, Miramani, and Los Lomas, and Concord right now is tied for 1st place. So you could say they played 3 of the better teams in the league. They'll have some winnable games on their schedule coming up. 1st down, the ball spotted at the 43-yard line. Rankin with 2 backs, Killian and Johnson behind him. Play action. Running once again, and now Rankin finds a lane. He's very good at that, and he has positive yardage once again across midfield, tackled at the 45-yard line before he was hit by Rolofson and DiMalanta. A gain of 12. 1st down, clock stops to move the chains, 6 seconds to go, and this could be the last play of the ball game. As I mentioned, Tony will be down with the players of the game, both from Los Lomas, after the game. Now with the spot, the clock is running, and that'll do it, folks. That's the last play of the game, and this one is over. It says zeros on the scoreboard, and the final score, Los Lomas 40 and Northgate 9. We'll be back with our post-game coverage, including interviews, stats, and highlights after this on Comcast.
Hi, I'm Rob from Central Tune-Up. Check this out. Oil filter crusher. Did you know that every drained used oil filter that comes off your car still contains up to a cup of used oil? That used oil can destroy our environment and water supply. Do the right thing and place your used oil filter in a clear Ziploc bag and place it on the curb with the rest of the recyclable items. If your city does not have curbside used oil recycling, take it to your nearest certified used oil and filter recycling center. Call ahead for hours and the amount accepted. What more, if all the oil filters that were sold yearly in the United States were recycled, you would have enough steel to build 16 pro sports stadiums. Be good to the earth. Recycle your used oil and filters for a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-NO-DUMPING or check out our website at www.funnelhead.com.
Hi, I'm Rocco Bialy, and I'd like to welcome you to Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria here in Walnut Creek. Rocco's is a great place for family dining. In addition to serving the best pizza in the East Bay, Rocco's also serves many classic Italian pasta specialties. Make Rocco's your home for your next team party.
Great pizza, great pasta,
great people. Rocco's is part of your community.
Get ready, Northern California. Mazay Pontiac Cadillac Buick GMC has a huge selection of new and certified pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Mazay invites you to experience our superior service and selection. Our new state-of-the-art facility and team of experts will make your car buying experience the best in the Bay Area.
Hi, I'm Matt Mazay. Whether it's a Cadillac Escalade or a GMC truck, I'll guarantee you the right car at the right price. Come by and see us today.
Discover the difference at Mazay Pontiac Cadillac Buick GMC in the Century Auto Plaza, Pittsburgh.
Tonight's Comcast Game of the Week is made possible in part by a generous donation from the dentistry offices of Keith White and Brett Annoni DDS. Keith White and Brett Annoni have been serving Central Contra Costa County for years with a personal commitment to their patients in uncompromising dental care with an atmosphere of comfort and experience. with state-of-the-art sterilization techniques and equipment, which includes digital x-rays. Their staff of highly trained professionals will make your every visit one you'll look forward to in the future. That's Keith White and Brett Annoni, DDS and staff. State Farm agent Roger Fernando, located in the Crow Canyon Commons Shopping Center in San Ramon. When a coach understands the player's strengths, developing a winning strategy is easy. That's also true with State Farm agent Roger Fernando. Roger knows your insurance and financial situation isn't exactly like anyone else's. But like a great coach, Roger and his team of professionals create a strategy to meet your individual needs. See State Farm agent Roger Fernando and his team at 3211A Crow Canyon Place in San Ramon. The 19th Hole Casino at West Tregallis Road. Established in 1967, the 19th hole has been completely renovated. Open 7 days a week, they feature Texas Hold'em, No Bust 21 Blackjack, Lowball, High-Low Split, Pai Gow, and provide Keno and lottery sales. Every Tuesday and Wednesday beginning at 5:30 p.m., it's a no-limit Texas Hold'em shootout with winner-take-all. Friday and Saturday night is karaoke at 9 p.m., and Sunday at 9 a.m. is the NFL ticket on all the 14 TVs. And come play in the Sunday no-limit Texas Hold'em tournament. That's the 19th hole behind the post office in Antioch. Make big messes no longer a problem. Experience the difference in a real professional. Randy's Carpet Care. Improve your indoor living to a clean, healthy environment. IICRC certified master cleaning specialist in carpet, upholstery, odor control, and stain removal. Owner-operator and family friendly. Call today to reserve your spot. Randy's Carpet Care. We exist to serve you. Call 925-518-1088. Bridgehead Self-Storage of Antioch, located behind Kmart off Highway 4 and East 18th Street. Bridgehead Self-Storage has from 5x6 to 10x40 24-hour security units for those extra things you just can't fit in the garage anymore. RV and boat storage spaces are also available, along with packing and moving supplies. That's Bridgehead Self-Storage of Antioch, behind Kmart off Highway 4.
All right, I'm on the sideline here with our Brendan Theaters players of the game. First, Bo Harkins, a couple of catches, over 100 yards and a touchdown. Tell me about the touchdown catch, and were you surprised that you were so wide open?
Yeah, I was really surprised because, I don't know, I looked back and the guy wasn't even near me and couldn't have done it. My quarterback threw me a really good ball, so I didn't even have to go back for it. Caught me right in stride, so.
That's almost one you kind of dropped. He's like, wait a minute, aren't I supposed to be getting hit or something here?
I know, I was shocked. I was shocked to be so wide open.
All right, let's go to Kevin Palaniuk. He had a good game, too. You made the most of your opportunity after Stinson got hurt. You were ready for the opportunity, and you really made the most of it. Tell us about your effort.
I just tried to step in, and one of our players went down. I just tried to make the most of every play I could get, and the line did great blocking. So the holes were
Plenty of open holes tonight, huh?
Yep, found the open holes. The line made good holes, and I just ran through, did what I could.
You know, Northgate put on a pretty good game tonight. They were in it for somewhat, but you guys got some tough games coming up. Tell us about the rest of the season and how you get prepared for teams like Miramani and College Park, teams right now with winning records in the DFL.
We need to step it up. We had a few injuries today, so we need some second-team players to step it up and go big for us in these upcoming weeks.
Guys, congratulations. Another win for Los Lomas. They get the big win here tonight over Northgate. Now that's the Brendan Theaters players of the game. Brendan Theaters, enjoy the show. Let's go back upstairs now to Dan Wall.
Thanks a lot, Tony. Great effort by both those guys. Palaniuk, 114 yards and a touchdown, and Harkins, 2 catches, 100 yards and a touchdown. Let's take a look at the highlights from the second half of action here. This is Jordan Curl, the handoff. And that's, actually, this is Stinson. And that is actually the first play of the game. So we're not just looking at highlights from the second half, we're looking at highlights from the entire game. But that was one of the big plays. That was the first play of scrimmage. 66 yards for Stinson, who got hurt but finished with 100 yards rushing. They had 2 100-yard rushers in tonight's game. Here's the big touchdown to Harkins. He was one of our players of the game. 68 yards from Curl. At that point in the game, it was 19-0 after they missed the extra point. And then a handoff here. This is Palaniuk, our other player of the game, who rushed for 114 yards and a touchdown. And our final highlight. This is Cameron Bond with the touchdown. The final score tonight, Los Lomas 40 and Northgate 9 in the Battle of the Creek. They awarded the trophy down on the field. Let's take a look at the final stats from tonight's game. You can see the great advantage for Los Lomas, but Northgate caught up there in the second half, 461 to 252. You can see that big advantage in rushing for Los Lomas, 320 yards, as I mentioned. They had two guys with over 100 yards rushing, and Pomerantz finished with a big night, over 80 yards rushing. 11 first downs to 15. Turnovers were 3-2, penalties 7 for 80 for Northgate and 10 for 105 for Los Lomas. Those are our final stats tonight here at the game of the week. Individually, Palinuk, 16 carries, 114 yards and a touchdown. Stinson had 5 carries for 100 yards and a touchdown. Curl was 6 of 12 for 141 and a touchdown. Harkins caught 2 passes for 100 yards and a TD. Davis, who was hurt, 2 for 21, and Swisher 2 for 28 for the Knights. For Northgate, Rankin was their leading rusher, 17 carries, 53 yards. Navarro had 7 for 21. Rankin was 11 of 21 for 153 and a touchdown in a very game effort. I'd have to say he was their player of the game on that side of the ball, and him in 6 catches for 76 yards for Northgate. As we wrap up this week's Comcast Friday night game of the week and we get ready for next week in Pittsburgh. Let's say goodnight to all of our great friends of the program here on the Comcast Game of the Week that help us get football, basketball, and baseball on the air every week for you here in Central Contra Costa County. The Comcast Game of the Week brought to you by these great friends of the program: Rocco's Ristorani and Pizzeria in Walnut Creek, Contra Costa Clean Water Program, and Mr. Funnelhead, Velocity Sports Performance, Brendan Theaters in Concord and Pittsburgh, Hertz Equipment Rental in Pacheco, Peacock Expressions Gallery in Antioch, Freshie Air Systems Incorporated, The Williams Company, Real Estate Services for the 21st Century, and Fitness 19 at 1853 Ignacio Valley Road. Call 935-1132. Here's some of our other great sponsors: Amorosa Antique and Floral, Diablo Auto Sales, Jeffrey Hogue, Doctor of Dentistry, GamePod Combat Airsoft, Antioch Opticians, Images at 3 Hair Salon, Recovery Carpet Care, Keith White and Brett Anoni, Doctors of Dentistry, Roger Fernando, State Farm Insurance, the 19th Hole Casino and Lounge, Randy's Carpet Care, the New Mecca Cafe, Bridgehead Self Storage, and Rock Bottom Records. Don't forget, folks, next week right here on these same channels at 7 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday, it's the Deer Valley Wolverines traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Pirates. We'll have all the action for you here on Comcast. For Tony Schultz, Matt Bolander, and our great Comcast crew, this is Dan Wall saying goodnight from Walnut Creek, where the final score was Los Lomas 40, Northgate 9. This has been a high school sports production brought to you by Comcast and Walnut Creek. Until next time, good night, everyone.
Catch the Comcast Game of the Week Saturday and Sunday nights at 7 p.m. right here on your Comcast Community Channel. Each week, the Game of the Week team brings you all the action and excitement of a complete high school football game, featuring the talented student athletes of Contra Costa County. Don't miss this exciting game coming up this weekend on your Comcast Community Channel.